Welcome to Profiles in Eccentricity, a show about weirdos. With your hosts, John Fahey, Aaron Peter, and Matt Brousseau.
Hello, folks. Welcome to Profiles in Eccentricity. It's a show about weirdos, doggone it. My name is Johnboy. It is Johnboy time. I am your host, John Francis Fahey. Joining me, as ever, is Ebenezer Splooge. Screwed off the red-holed main queer, I think, is one.
Well,
Screwed off
pretty good
the
run.
red-holed main queer. That is from one Joe Latchett in Fort Myers, Florida.
That's pretty good.
You like that?
It's true.
That's true.
That's true.
That's true.
That's true.
And to your right, my left, of course, is handsome Matt Brousseau, the Cape God, Gape God.
That's true.
Hi.
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 Hello.
Yeah.
What's up, fellas?
What? Don't give me that look.
I'm just trying to think of something stupid, but it's not working.
Cool,
I'm too smart.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm too smart to think of something stupid.
There you go.
You're operating at too high a capacity.
Dude, my megabits per second is
Oh, your
fucking-
capacity's
it's through the roof. I got 26 gigs of data in my mainframe.
Yeah.
Wait, still?
Yeah. Johnny Mnemonic.
That's Johnny Mnemonic levels.
Yeah. I'm best friends with a fucking dolphin, dude.
Do you remember the exact number he says?
I think it's 26 gigs, and then they put like 40.
I can store over 26 gigs of data in my head.
And then like they
Like,
put more in there.
It was
It's like-
in the
Trailer.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's fucking amazing.
The author of that short story, William Gibson, he wrote Johnny Mnemonic, the short story, which then became a cult classic film, let's say.
I would say. It was also big in its day. Let's be fair.
But it is, oh God, but it is fun to watch.
I told you in China they were just packaging it with Matrix 2
Yeah,
packaging
yeah.
And selling it bootleg.
Hmm?
That was brilliant. Brilliant.
The author of Johnny Mnemonic also wrote a book called Neuromancer, which is largely considered to be the first of the cyberpunk genre.
That's exactly right.
And it's going to be made into a program.
Yeah.
A television program on Apple Plus.
Dude, I love romancing the brain.
Yes,
Big
you got to
time.
romance the neuros.
Huh.
A lot.
Wow, how do you do that?
Well, it's
Put your dick in the gray matter.
yeah.
Oh.
It's the biggest sexual organ or whatever Jackie Treehorn says.
The brain.
The most erogenous zone or something.
Maybe on you, bro.
Yeah. I want to say something. It's the holidays.
Sure is.
I want to slow it down and get sentimental. No, I want to say, if you want to support this program, if you like the show, go ahead and get yourself a T-shirt. Go get a
Come
friend.
on, get one.
Go get your friend a T-shirt. And
Get me one.
and do a Patreon subscription.
Yeah, subscribe to Patreon.
You will love it.
We have all sorts of tomfoolery on this.
Oh,
Stupid
yeah.
stuff on there, that's for sure.
What did we do last time on the last Patreon? There's an extra episode per week. And the last one we did
couple of
Tom Carvel.
Oh, Tom Carvel, that's right.
Some great yarns from Lunches with Orson Welles.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then you had one about the cannibal in
Japan,
in France.
Yeah, I was gonna maybe next time go read one of the interviews he did, or maybe one of his
That's
reviews.
in Japanese. How would you read it?
I got 26 gigs. of
Oh, that's
storage.
right. Shit.
It's easy.
You goes,
Think about it.
Moshi Moshi.
Yeah.
I got it now. You know, like,
Yeah.
I can fly helicopters, dodge bullets, and speak bad Japanese.
Yeah. His control alt delete is like squeeze, poke, and pull.
Oh, he's like
Yeah,
he's like a bop it.
It's like a human bop it.
If you squeeze, poke, and pull, he fucking boots right back up.
Oh, he boots.
Yeah. You pull the nuts, squeeze the taint,
Yeah.
And he's booting.
and poke
Finger the urethra.
the red hole.
Yeah, the wreath.
The red hole.
Yeah, say I have a Christmas urethra on my door.
Yeah. Well, you gotta choose the red hole or the blue hole, you know?
Yeah.
Choice.
The choice is yours.
Yeah, folks, please check us out also on the Instagram. We are Profiles in Eccentricity over there. We are PP Podcast on Twitter while that is still a platform.
Now listen. People,
Listen to him.
go find some great clips on YouTube of us.
Yeah.
And send us the timestamps.
Minutes. Like a minute.
Like
long.
a minute.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you know what? I remember this
Minute
moment,
or less.
This moment from some episode. I really loved it.
Yeah.
Go tell us what would be great because we're gonna start posting little clips on the
Reels.
on
TikToks
Instagram
or something.
Like you said, Twitter. Well, it still exists as
Twitter,
the form that it is.
yes.
So we could use some little crowdsourcing help.
And who knows better than you? Nobody.
The people that listen and watch. So send us a timestamp of preferably, absolutely one that's on video because we're trying to make it a video thing.
Yes, and one that we all look good in.
Yeah, we could run it through a filter.
Yeah. With the AI now.
Yeah, we'll have freckles and big lips.
I can have fucking 4 arms if I want to.
Finally, I have tits.
I can have 4 skin if I want to.
I can have 4 skins, yeah.
4
Matt,
skins.
you could be cut.
I could have 8 skins at this point.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, you could got the skin.
Yeah.
You could be overly circumcised if you want.
Yeah.
Botched.
What?
Yeah.
Botched.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That was a show on AMC, right?
Yeah.
Botched circumcision.
That guy was a fixer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't fix them all.
I can't believe that botched circumcision isn't a reality show yet on Bravo.
There was a show called Botched.
Wasn't that Below Decks?
Yeah.
There was a show on one of those things called Botched, like TLC.
Oh, like bad plastic surgery?
Yeah.
Dude, what a fucking scandal.
Dude.
Let me ask you something.
Please ask me.
Do you remember when you asked me about Marcella's friend Israel and how he wanted to start somewhere with the show?
Yeah.
But his sort of stuff we didn't really have too much of.
Right.
And by coinky dink.
A coinky dink?
A coinky dink. I think I got something that lines up for Israel's.
The person, not the fucking state.
No, but that will come up.
Because that's.
But Izzy, this one's for you, buddy. This bud's for you. Guys, probably long overdue. Gonna talk about David Icke.
Hell yes!
Oh, I thought it was gonna be gold in my ear.
Oh, gold in my ear. Also, probably worthy of one.
True.
I loved David Icke.
Yeah, my dad was a very big defender of gold in my ear. So that is one to think about.
Dude, I don't even know what that is.
I think the female premier of Israel during the 6 Day War.
Oh, sick.
And like very much not a hawk, very much not into having to do that.
Right.
But then it kind of sets Israel like on its course for, obviously.
The baby show.
You got to get the nukes, man.
So tell me what you know about David Icke.
Well, I know that he was at some point, I believe he was a footballer.
He was.
Yes, he was.
And that is European football for the uneducated, what we would call soccer.
Yes.
And then he became like a sports like a soccer commentator.
That's right.
And then he lost his mind.
Yeah. Well, also, what's interesting in there too is I think while so the reason he got out of football was like 21 years old. First of all, David grew up very poor.
On the Isle of Wight.
No, he moved there later.
Oh, I thought it was.
He was in Leicester, where those guys couldn't be bothered how to figure out how to pronounce Leicester.
Yeah,
entirely easy.
Yeah,
you can also just look up like a YouTube video of how do I say this word now.
Yeah,
no excuse. I heard and the research for two spoiled little.
Why? Because it looks like Leicester.
Yeah, they were saying Leicester and stuff.
Jesus Christ!
It was fucking humiliating.
Don't listen to other podcasts.
Don't. You will get your feelings hurt.
Yeah, we might fuck up now and again. We might say the N word or mispronounce something.
We will not do that.
We're not gonna do that.
Nope.
We might. So, but it's not as egregious as some of these other shows. I'm telling you, it's not.
You can't take it.
It's
anywhere.
not as egregious.
Yeah.
That would be more egregious.
That would be.
Well, at least I'm pronouncing it right.
Don't pronounce it at all.
Okay, I won't, but
okay,
I would.
Yeah. All right. Very good. Glad we had that detour.
So he and then he lost his mind.
No. Hold on. So one thing was
he wore teal forever.
Well, he didn't lose his mind. He sees clearer than ever.
The reason he had to dip out of football was he got rheumatoid arthritis at like 21, and like
or was it given to him?
By the deep state reptoids.
All right, well, let's not jump ahead here.
Okay,
So,
sorry.
rheumatoid arthritis is an autoimmune disease.
That's exactly right, Aaron.
And it causes all sorts of inflammation and all sorts of fucked upness in your joints.
Yeah, he was in a lot of pain.
What year is this? Like 71?
I think
guess.
we're maybe 73 because he's born. Oh no, maybe 74 because he's born 52.
Okay.
So yeah, right around there. Very good guess. And he was not good in school. They grew up very poor. Like council estates and stuff. And
what's that, projects?
Yeah, the projects. And so he had a thing about like being told to hide when somebody knocked on the door because there was somebody looking for rent and stuff like that. So he's like, I still get freaked out when somebody knocks on the door. Probably for different reasons now. But yeah. So then in school he was like just not really applying himself, but he got into football and then he took off, and as he's like suffering with rheumatoid arthritis, quite bad. Like it's starting, I think, in what college like type school, you know what I mean, like that era, whatever it is over there. University, right? I don't know what school he was in or anything, but he started playing, I think, sort of casually for Hereford.
Okay.
And at that point, it's like getting to the point where like he's like, I can't fucking do this, and his dad is mad at him.
Yeah, of course. It's the only way out of poverty.
Well, also it's not really an argument.
Yeah,
like
I got it from you.
No, but also like I can't make it not hurt. It's not. Yeah. It's not as if like he's making it up.
Right, you can see it like people's joints. Like they have it in their hands and fingers.
Yeah.
You can see them deform.
Oh yes, very much. Yeah.
That's frightening.
I mean, Jessie got it when she was like maybe 30 or something. But I mean, I had never heard of anybody getting it at like 21.
Yeah.
That kind of boggled my mind.
Remember that comic? He died. He did it when he's Starling for a while. He had rheumatoid arthritis.
Oh, yeah?
God, I forgot his name. I'm sorry. Rest in peace, buddy.
Yeah.
But he got it really young, too.
Really?
Like in his 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ryan something.
So David, he gets out of football, but then he starts doing like local paper stuff.
Okay.
Journalism, and then it's like TV presenter, and then it's like, all right, sports guy, and it works his way all the way up to the BBC, and doing like a breakfast show, like I think the BBC's first breakfast time show. Big BBC shows like like fucking Spotlight or whatever, and he was a name, like a household name. You'd be like, oh, David Icke, blah, blah, blah. And so it's just like when he goes on to Terry Wogan, that is the British public's perception of David Icke, period.
Right.
So it's not as if this is like a Kanye thing, like a slow boil.
No.
It's very much like from 0 to 1,000, real fast.
Okay, so wait, can you explain like what is Terry
Wogan? Just a BBC talk show host.
Okay, so he's been doing all of these shows here and there, presenter. So-and-so, talking head guy, and
he's got his shit together.
And in the midst of this too, what had happened was he started looking for like alternate medicine stuff.
Oh, okay.
So he's starting there. In some store.
A personal crusade.
Yeah, he found a gremlin.
And then it gets into, some spiritual things and
crystals.
He starts kind of going in search of answers. He starts feeling a presence around him at all times. This is while he's doing the straight regular reporting. And
there was a presence. I mean, there's a whole
cameras.
The
people are watching.
No, when he was alone, he was saying.
Oh, okay.
And he got to the point where I was alone in a hotel room somewhere, and he's like, and I started talking to it, being like, if somebody's here, like, please, make yourself counted because you're driving me up the wall. And when he talks about it, he's very charming.
And he's lucid.
He's very lucid, articulate, and still has very quaint sort of British affectations.
Yeah. And he's convincing.
He's quite convincing in
so much as you can be.
As much as you can be. But he so he goes to see a psychic. And the psychic says, somebody's they're saying you're going to go into a life where you bring about a lot of big challenges for people. A lot of people are going to be against you, but these these entities on this side are saying that they're going to protect you, and that sort of thing. And in the midst of this too, he has joined the Green Party. Like I said, very, kind of new agey liberal, sort of guy, right? Early 70s, right? And he's already famous at the time. So I think within 6 months of joining the Green Party, they've made him their spokesperson.
Wow.
And so he's a they said he was their Tony Blair.
Well, these days it doesn't carry as much weight as it.
No, but back then it really did. Yeah, so, but he then he announces that he's going to retire, which was a classy move, if you know what's coming. He retires and
retire from
the Green Party.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
and by now broadcasting too, or
well, I think he kind of was like, I'm gonna give myself over to doing my own research.
So what happens on that program when he finally reveals to the world that he's aware? Like, is there?
Well, no, he doesn't even go there. He's not he doesn't even have that part fleshed out yet. Okay. What's happened was he started going around with this belief that he was having some divine contact, and then he started traveling like around the world, and he went to Peru, and he visited some like holy sites and grave sites and stuff, and there was one where he was like, oh, fucking not really getting anything at Lake Titicaca or whatever, and then he's like, I was fucking off on my way home. And he's like, and I just saw somewhere on a hill, and it was like telling me like go there, Right. And it turned out it was some like sort of ceremonial burial ground of old
in 50 miles.
And he goes and he's like, I felt like I was like almost electrocuted, like just getting this huge charge. And he's like, and I heard some voice saying like, it'll stop when the rain comes. And he's like, I'm looking at like a beautiful Peruvian day with like no trace of rain coming. And he's like, and then, sure enough, slowly in the distance, like clouds came in, and then it stopped when the rain hit him. And so then he came back, and he's going on this journey, and he's married too, right? And I think he's already had his firstborn, and but then he he goes and he's just like he tells the Greens, he's like, listen, he's like, I'm about to be like embroiled in like a lot of controversy. So
that never happens to the Green Party.
So like I'm stepping down, and he got a standing O. Yeah, because they loved him. Yeah. And at least from the speaker platform, and so then he comes out and he goes on Terry Wogan, who is a huge talk show host, and remained so until I lived there in turn of the millennium.
Oh, okay.
And he says he is I think the son of the Godhead is how he put it. And is
that related to Superhead?
Yeah, that's got to be.
Yeah.
They're at least like
there's
familial
levels to it. Yeah, levels to it.
Yeah. And it was.
It's like genus, species.
Wogan started out by saying the world as we know it is about to end.
That's what he said on Wogan.
No, Wogan said it.
Whoa, what did Wogan know?
Before he even comes out.
Why?
Oh, because he's saying Icke is going to tell us some
crazy shit.
Yeah. And so it is the guy imagine Terry Bradshaw doing this on like turning on a dime. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, he does, but it's not. Specificity isn't there. It's more just because his brain is going.
Okay, but you know what I'm saying, right? I know what you mean. And he was like, "Oh yeah, people are laughing at me in the audience." Like, there's a lot of, and he's going, "Oh, Jesus would have been laughed at too," when he said he was the Son of God. You know what I mean?
No.
He said,
"Yeah."
Yeah, there's also no evidence Jesus ever said it, right?
There's no evidence that he ever existed either.
Oh, actually, well, Jesus the actual guy. He was one of many zealots.
One of many Jesuses.
They said he was an early Marxist, basically. And might have been married to Mary Magdalene and all that stuff.
That's how you get the name Mary, right?
So it gets to this head where he says, I think he says like, maybe, Los Angeles is going to become an island.
Yeah.
Okay, right. The cliffs of Kent will be underwater by like 97. I think the world is supposed to end in 97 at the time.
Yeah. You watched Terminator. Oh, Terminator wasn't out yet.
Whoa.
Yeah, and so
arguably more impressive.
So he's like he's got these very specific things, which you're also like, dude, just put it a few more years out. Like these people with their fucking predictions
after you're dead,
they always make it like next year because they need money now.
Yeah.
You know,
they need you to liquidate your credit cards, but he
didn't need money. So it was interesting, but so he said, and he's also dressed all in turquoise.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
The turquoise phase, he called it.
I mean, I wasn't alive, but I remember in my David Icke phase.
I had one too.
Yeah, I mean, it's compelling shit when you're in high school and college, and it's coming out on the internet.
Also, like, yeah.
And a lot of the stuff is just...
It was kind of pre-internet for me. Like, I got the Ronson book.
Oh, okay.
Which we both, I think, have them. And I told you in the UK it had a series that went along with it.
Okay,
Each chapter,
right.
So the one about Bilderberg,
right,
and Waco, and all that stuff. Like there was an episode for each kind of part of the book from John Ronson, and it was fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, it's great. Ronson's fantastic.
Yeah. He's absolutely incredible. And I was thinking about you today when I was doing research on this because David Icke also very much ties in with his later books, So You've Been Publicly Shamed.
Yes. Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
with John Ronson's other book, So You've Been Publicly Shamed.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Because after this, it was a huge laughing stock.
Yeah.
He's told by Terry Wogan he's gone because a lot of the thesis about how to defeat this evil in the world that we'll get more into specifically is through love is the whole pitch, which is it's very easy.
And it's not wrong.
No. But he's saying he's like he goes he's like, I'm glad I hear laughter in the audience, because laughter is one of the best ways to create that. And Terry Wogan goes, but they're not laughing with you, they're laughing at you. And then you can see like it's kind of like a, and then he goes, and I don't say that to hurt you, but I'm just pointing out like blah blah blah. And he's like, oh, that's fine, but he's like, after this, and he had a press conference.
Say that again.
He had a press conference before this where he said it.
Okay.
But now you're beaming it into
Holmes,
BBC, like Holmes. Everybody's,
it's the woke man.
Yeah. It's and whatever EastEnders is on after or whatever, So everybody's seeing it, and he's like, I couldn't go anywhere, and he's like, the cops came because there was like 100 people outside my house saying, David, give us a sign. Like just making fun of him, like he was being trolled. Like
he's being trolled. That's
yeah.
100 people trolling is necessarily great. Yeah.
Really bad outside his house, and then very quickly, it's like with the Elephant Man. You're either killing him or you're saving him.
Mm-hmm.
So the media, like the Guardian, was like, oh, they called it a media crucifixion and stuff like that. And I'm kind of going like in hindsight, because Wogan had him back on, I think like 2015 or something, and sort of like at the time he even he didn't even really apologize. He goes like, I said even then when I said that I'm not saying it to hurt you.
Yeah.
I'm just saying like that is the case.
Yeah. You may like not all laughter is a well intentioned.
Yeah, and this thing too of like still in the 2015 interview, Wogan is going like, oh, but you see what you're saying? Like, it's ludicrous. Like, it's ridiculous. And he's getting into 9/11 and, whatever, and stuff like that. And he's going like, oh, yeah, but, America's like an open society. Like, and he goes like, America's an open society. Like, he's trying to make Wogan look stupid for his statements because they're just, and he's going, all right, well, you know it all. And he's like, well, no, he's like, now you're playing dirty again, saying I know it all. It's like, but David Icke, that's what you do.
Yeah.
You come out and you don't shut up and you rant and you tell us if we disagree
that we're sheep,
that we're fucking sheep and asleep and blah 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 blah.
Right. So
there's a part of me that goes like and other podcasts again in doing this research were like oh yeah that interview is kind of hard to watch, and it's like I understand you feel bad for him. That doesn't mean Wogan is a bully.
No.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's this thing too of like. The people fucking like snowflaking early,
right?
Where it's just going like, if you come out and you say things with zero evidence that absolutely nobody else is saying, and
it's not being a bully to say What are you talking about?
Yeah, if I come out with one of my balls out on Terry Wogan and I go like, no, this is good. This is what we do now. It's all good.
Yeah,
and people are like tittering and chuckling. I'm not going to act like a fucking victim.
Right.
I'm the only one doing this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. So he goes on Wogan.
Yeah.
He says, I'm the son of the Godhead, makes these crazy predictions.
Yeah.
Does he get into conspiracy at all there?
No, not really.
Okay. So then that happens. He's wearing the turquoise. He's in his turquoise phase.
Yeah.
People start showing up at his house, trolling him.
Yeah.
Now what happens?
Well, yeah, he's kind of
because we're jumping a little bit ahead for the people who don't know what David Icke would eventually become.
I don't think we are if we haven't said it.
Well, the second Wogan interview isn't like right after the first.
No, it's 40 years later.
Yeah. No, but it's still kind of reflecting on that first interview, which is
sure.
The thing that, he was like, oh, I had to hide. And he's like, one of my greatest fears was, being ridiculed in public and stuff like that. Also, it's very telling, too, because his dad, who gave him the hard time about not playing with, like, in agonizing pain, he did this press conference, like, a week after his father's death. Which, I think we can all agree, like,
line you can draw.
There's a thing where you go like, if old man Icke had been around a little longer, how soon would this press conference come?
Right. Play through the pain. Also, don't acknowledge the other world.
The David Icke in me thinks David Icke killed his own dad so he could do the press conference.
Yeah.
All right, so they're trolling him outside his house.
Yeah. So that's all 91. And so he said there was going to be a hurricane in Derry in this interview. He said there was yes, Derry in Ireland. Hurricane on the Gulf of Mexico in New Orleans, which is like saying
it's going to rain.
Yeah. The world was going to end in 97. There was going to be eruptions in Cuba. I don't know if that's political or volcanic.
Sexual.
Yeah. Earthquake on the Isle of Arran.
What?
And a lot of it was being given to him by voices and automatic writing, which, is writing what? Oh, New Zealand was going to disappear.
Oh, New Zealand was going to disappear.
Yes. And yet we got Flight of the Conchords.
And yet we got all the Lord of the Rings movies.
I'm telling you. Yeah. And
maybe that was Australia.
Oh,
What you should give predictions like mostly everything's going to still be the same.
Yeah. Things will suck.
The real prediction, real catastrophic predictions that are going to happen are like, the sea level over a course of a couple generations is going to rise a number of feet. And although it doesn't sound catastrophic, it will be.
It will fundamentally destroy life as you know it.
That is the prediction that we should all be listening to.
Uh-huh. But what do you think he says about that?
Oh, well, LA is going to break off with an earthquake.
No, right. No, but I'm saying.
Oh, about climate change? Yeah. Oh, it's a cabal of scientists.
It's bollocks.
Yeah.
Bollocks.
That's the bollocks.
Bollocks is what he said. Yeah.
Yeah, climate change is bollocks.
Did he ever say, like, there will be a new financial monetary system and it will be unregulated and collapse?
Yeah.
And then it'll come back a little bit and then it'll collapse again.
Yeah, and David Icke never talked about Bitcoin.
No, he never.
So in the kind of ramp up to this, it's he's already started doing his turquoise tracksuit thing because he just believed that was a
holy color, like a color.
like a good vibe color,
and that might be his worst theory.
Yeah, it doesn't look too hot,
and it's like a windbreaker suit.
And so
it's hard to find a good tailor.
He's doing the automatic writing. And so that's where he gets the idea that he is the son of the Godhead, and the Godhead means the infinite mind.
Now they got that through the writing, because I feel like it's a Ouija board situation,
Yeah.
Or you just write it.
Yeah. Oh, and this first psychic too, I think, told him that he would write like 5 books in like a 3-year period. So he just starts scribbling books out.
Just write 5 books in a 3-year period.
Okay. And so it's the thing, like,
shit, man. Every like, English teacher I had, I wish they did that.
This one psychic might have started this whole thing. And like,
was it Nostradamus?
And then he was just kind of like, well, now I need. If you don't do it, then
then everything you believe is fake.
But the thing he was bringing with it, with his back to it, or at his back was fame.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a thing where like he could get farther.
Yeah.
And all that, like if somebody
than any other fucking
punter, slob down the street, right?
Like I use punter.
Yeah, that's well done.
I did like that. So he met another English psychic based in Canada, in Calgary, and
That's trouble.
they started a relationship with Ike's wife's blessing.
Oh,
Wait, like what
Not
kind
like-
of relationship?
like a
Yes, sex.
Female psychic?
Yeah.
Cool.
no English in
Yeah.
Canada.
And
Hey, I bet you she was relieved to get his sweaty turquoise tracksuit wearing ass off of her.
her name was Deborah Shaw, and she began living with the couple. Later on, the press would call that the turquoise triangle.
A lot of things gets lost.
Yeah. Deborah Shaw changed the name to Mari Shawson.
It's like God.
And
had-
Ike's wife changed the name to Michaela, which she said because she also believes she is an aspect of the Archangel Michael.
oh, cool.
So everybody's drinking the Kool-Aid, which I'm sure
Dude, Kool-Aid's good.
I know, but I bet like all of this, as much as you're like, oh, the public shaming, and if you're down with it, I bet you're fucking a lot.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Guys, like there's only a
What's
couple
that?
of you.
That's why they need a third person.
Yeah.
They run out of all the two people stuff.
You can't hold the human body can only
Yeah.
hold so much cum.
And
Yeah.
so,
But I do wonder in that house, can anyone cook?
yeah,
Are,
no.
are they English? Then no. They got to get like an Indian in there.
December 91, he had a daughter with the psychic Shaw, and they had already broken up by the time she was born.
Nobody saw it coming.
In 1993,
it's kind of odd.
he wrote that he decided not to visit his daughter, and he had seen her only once at the mom's request.
Great.
So just a sperm donor situation.
Yeah, and so
Or
him and his
bad
wife stay
fathers.
together, and they have their second kid in 92.
Who he sees.
Yeah, no.
Cool.
I mean, I think he has a son Gareth that's like involved in like the answer business.
Oh, like him?
Yeah,
Oh, the answer business.
yeah.
is
The answer,
Gareth. Such a cunty English
Man, what a
name.
disappointment if the son was involved in the question business. That would have been really.
Well, that would be called a journalist.
yeah, which they say they are.
Suck my dick.
Yeah, it's so funny when journalists tell you what's happening and don't, like
Explain.
theorize and
It's just if they were journalists, it'd be like everything would just be like, or maybe it isn't. Like, oh,
yeah. So
guess it won't rain.
Or there'd be evidence.
so he's got he's got this thing now behind him where he's going like, okay, well now almost like I've kind of burned all my bridges. I can only go up from here, right?
Oh, because I'm so far down.
Yeah, because and so he was going like so he started this book, Truth Vibrations, which was published
He's just ripping off the Beach
published in
Boys.
91.
Yep.
And he wrote 5 books between 92 and 94.
Yeah.
All published by mainstream British publishers because he's a celebrity.
Mhm.
And
I think the one that was called "And the Truth Shall Set You Free" is one where he's naked on the cover.
no. That one's like something I'm All Me or something.
Ugh.
But yeah, he was naked, uncensored, on the cover.
You gotta really wonder who.
It's
Liz
hard to
Van
find
is,
an
yeah.
uncensored
Yeah.
photo of the book on the internet.
Yeah.
even.
It's because they're doing you a favor. It's not.
I want to see his Ike.
It's the Ike.
So he had Love Changes Everything 92, which is about the channeling work with Shaw.
Bullshit.
And Theosophy is in there too.
Oh, he gets
Oh,
into the
great.
theosophy. Okay.
And Days of Decision 93 about the 91 media splash with Logan and all that.
Days of Decision.
And none of these are hits yet until
Then he has In the Light of Experience same year, and then it's followed by Heal the World, a Do-It-Yourself Guide to Personal and Planetary Transformation 93. And
That really doesn't really fit the title.
94 he does The Robots Rebellion.
Ooh,
that one was big.
Now we're going into and so that attracted the first stuff where they were saying it was anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
And that was because
Aw.
He mentions the protocols of the Elders of Zion.
that's
in there.
exactly right. Now, do you want to tell them what about do you know about?
Yeah, I could give it a whack.
Yeah.
So the protocols of the Elders of Zion is a debunked
debunked in the 20s.
Yes.
And then taught in the 30s as fact to German school children under the Nazis.
That's right. And maybe even pushed a little bit by Henry Ford as well.
Also debunked not only by the London Times, but by
a number of publications.
A German newspaper like in 24 or something. So it was
a document. Or recordings even, maybe.
It's actually like an amalgamation of like a few things they think. And shortly before serious Russian pogroms.
Yeah.
Basically, there was like the people that organized these pogroms, like to get Jewish people out of Russia and to steal their shit.
Yeah.
Write this whole thing about a global conspiracy orchestrated by the elders of Zion.
Yeah.
Which is ostensibly
Jewish elite.
Yeah, exactly. And how they're planning to take over the globe.
Well, you know, they're terrible at it. That's the whole thing. They keep trying, and they just can't do it.
And they were like the timing of everything was fucked up. Like they were acting like it was like an ancient text, and then you could clearly tell it was like 1903 or whatever.
Someone wrote the date.
It was in ballpoint.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, there was what's his name was here with the World War II.
Alfred E. Newman.
Yeah, that's Alfred E. Newman.
What me worry? Yeah, there's just, and it's bullshit.
Total bullshit.
Yeah, it was debunked at the time. It makes its rounds again.
But that's the thing is that like it's so funny.
But it's not the crux of his book, but it is mentioned in it.
It's not, but it's cited because you have to have sources.
Yeah.
And none of your shit's gonna make sense.
Yeah, so you can cite a debunked thing.
You would cite things that don't make fucking sense.
Right.
And then, it's just so funny too how like, even later when it comes up, it's like he would just be like, no man, it's not about Jews. He's like, it's just about aliens. I do think well, we'll get into that later, but that sounds like I believe in something bad. But what I was gonna say was I do believe that people kind of run away with anti-Semitic accusations about him.
Yeah,
but he's got a lot of fans in a lot of bad places.
Yeah,
and that's not a good look.
Right.
But he's very much like of this thing of like, nah, dude, like
I do attract the anti-Semite, but does it mean that I am one?
Well, it's just so easy to go like, all right, well, there's a shadowy cabal behind the ruling the world. I am saying that they are aliens.
You are saying that they're Jews.
You're saying they're Jews. But I'm also leaning on some periodicals that are anti-Jew propaganda.
Right.
But I'm just saying like, oh no, they got that wrong.
Yeah, they got the slur wrong.
Yeah. So then there's a thing where it goes a little deeper into that, and you can wonder if it's because of the blowback. They're just like, all right, well, you're going here. We've known that's a fraud for fucking half a century, okay? Then he gets into the protocols from Beyond a Pale Horse.
The book.
91.
Behold a Pale Horse.
Mm-hmm.
And that one is God, what's the guy's name that wrote it? But that's like maybe the most famous conspiracy theory book of all time.
Big fans, Timothy McVeigh and stuff.
So I don't know this one.
So
I've heard the phrase, from the Bible.
Right.
This guy was born in 43. His name was Milton William Bill Cooper.
Bill Cooper. That's who it was.
He was, his dad was like in the Air Force and stuff, and
the title is called "Behold the Pale Horse," and it's a quote from Revelations. Behold the Pale Horse.
I think it's called Protocols from Beyond the Pale Horse.
Really?
I think so.
Maybe, but the quote is it's.
Oh no, it is behold a pale horse. Yes, it is.
Behold the pale horse, and his rider's name is Death.
Yeah,
and that's the fourth horseman.
All right.
And famously in our Heath Barcelona sketch, one of the modules of training that we had was behold a pale farce,
yeah.
Manipulating end times hysteria for sexual gain.
Yes, yeah. That's
I
right.
was really proud of
That's
it.
Yeah.
that's worth a reviewing.
If everybody
It's
could
a
go
lot
watch
deeper.
them.
It's a lot deeper than it might seem on the
Yeah,
surface.
slow it. Watch it at 0.75x speed, and you'll see some brilliance in there.
So that's it. He said,
Matt's blind.
yeah, Matt's blind in there.
Choices were made.
He said he was in the Air Force, said he was in the Navy.
Bill Cooper.
Naval Intelligence.
Yeah.
There was only evidence that he was like discharged. Also, after a tour in Vietnam with 2 service medals, but like not high ranking, anything like that. And then he was working like tech schools, vocational schools, and then he started in '88 doing conspiracy theory stuff, and got into UFO shit big time. And in '88 they had like the earliest version of like a message board and with UFO stuff, and said he saw some craft larger than a football field, and then he said he was told not to talk about it, blah blah blah, and he was contacted by John Olson Lear from Learjet. The founder was Bill Lear. This is his son.
Yeah.
And Lear was like into all this shit, and
The idle rich.
Yeah, exactly.
And he was getting stuff from this guy Paul Benowitz, who was a ufologist, who was later revealed to have been fed disinformation by counterintelligence agent Richard Doty.
Yeah, but
Dude, like, what the fuck is going on there?
But once it goes through the wrong guy, it's not disinformation anymore.
Once you have an
Now it's
American
information.
counterintelligence agent involved with ufologists, you're making it look like there's UFOs fucking everywhere.
Yeah, well, that's part of it.
Right.
Dude, and look at it. They just dropped the B-50 whatever stealth bomber just came out. If you look at it straight on, it looks like a fucking UFO.
Yeah.
It looks like a saucer. 95% of that shit from 1945 to 2000 was all just test aircraft.
Right. You don't have clearance to know what this is.
It was just like, you know what? Just say fucking UFOs are here. It's like,
So
throw people off the scent.
Cooper and Lear, they released an indictment against the U.S. government that is, quote, for aiding and abetting and concealing this alien nation which exists in our borders.
Alienation.
Yeah. And
How'd that work out?
they said they were just like it's all about the government colluding with them more than the aliens is the problem.
Whoa, the government's
what?
colluding.
It's more
with
about
them.
the government colluding with the aliens than the aliens being the problem.
Shit.
And like how that was like,
There's like a secret like currency they use.
well, it's the thing of like, you can't be mad at the thing you can't see. So who can you be mad at?
yeah, I guess
People.
you can.
You can't be sure that the thing you can't see exists.
Right.
I'm always angry. If I can't see it, I'm pissed.
Like, what? Why?
So Cooper and Lear, they were tight for a while, and then Cooper accused Lear of being a CIA plant. And then then Cooper writes "Behold a Pale Horse," and
it's one of those broad-ranging conspiracy books. Like it goes from like, fucking Sumerian tablets
JFK
to JFK to UFOs to ghosts to like
Just covering
it's
them
all.
all,
It
yeah.
goes all the way to the top.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's that book.
Cool.
The Illuminati declared war against America. There's a coming ice age. Kennedy.
It's more of an Icke age.
And it was I think when Terry Nichols went on trial, they were talking a lot about this, about how big it was in the militia circles specifically. So it was
you don't say those people are addicted to conspiracy?
ufologists and militia people, and they were saying like it was borderline the Bible of the militia movement.
That and Turner Diaries.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, I have a feeling that Terry Nichols was skipping over the UFO stuff. And,
Yeah, right.
and
right.
really dog-earing a lot of the, shadowy cabal, smoky room.
There was a political scientist that summarized it as saying it was among the most complex super conspiracy theories, and also the most influential due to its popularity in militia circles as well as mainstream bookstores. He said it was a historian said it was a chaotic conspiracy myths interspersed with reprints of executive laws, official papers, reports, and other extraneous materials designed to show the looming prospect of a world government imposed on the American people against their wishes and in flagrant contempt of the Constitution, which it turns out if you lose an election, you can just tear up.
Yeah. Well, I think I like books like that are so kind of like they're kind of fascinating because they're so illogical and so like poorly like there's no way to make them logical, and that only makes them easier for the conspiracy people to then digest in a way that makes them see it everywhere.
It's a master class in connecting the dots.
Yeah,
like,
but all you're doing is giving them dots, and the people reading it are the ones going,
listen,
well, this
like
and this
there are
and
no
this.
patterns of stars in the sky, but we go like you go there, and that's a scorpion. It's a line. You know, all you have to do is just kind of insinuate and put things in the right order, and people will connect their own dots because we're so desperate for there to be a narrative. And you know, to quote Alan Moore, he said, you know, I've done like all my conspiracy research. You know, like I wrote Watchmen, I did fucking From Hell, and I'm basically a witch.
Yeah.
And like the scariest thing is that no one's in control.
Yeah.
There is no grand conspiracy.
Right.
There are players. Of course, there's big players.
Yeah.
Bankers are big players. Of course.
Right.
Like huge giant of course. But like they're all at odds with each other.
Yeah.
Nobody's in control. It's fucking chaotic.
I have my other theory about it.
And that's scary, and that's why these people are so desperate for a narrative, because it gives them comfort to know that something is happening.
Right.
Yeah.
What caused the problem? Was it the one guy, or like the one race, or was it this whole disparate collection of corporations and money managers and like government agents that didn't do their job?
I think there's a big self lie, like, you know, and that's the thing people are really scared of, is like the thing of you know, Noam Chomsky would always say, if you want to see what's going on, read the business section.
Yeah.
He's like, they won't lie there. They'll be like, you know, we're gonna go in here because they're gonna nationalize. Somebody's going to invade because they don't want those things to get nationalized. This company needs the money. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And it's a thing where we can see all these things. You know, bloodshed that is because of capital and stuff like that. And if anybody cared or paid attention, they would do something about it. It's this thing of the delusion that we're all keeping them in check, and they have to go behind our backs. That, to me, is the real fallacy. The thing is, like, they've been doing this in the open.
It's in play
as long as we've been around.
It's a system of open corruption.
Yeah, it's now more plain than ever, and we're still like very much where we're going.
What's going on?
Yeah, we're going like, oh yeah, would you like all of my information about everything I've ever done, so I can use Instagram and fucking. Have filters on my pictures.
They don't need to give you a vaccine to track you.
Yeah.
You have a phone.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And also, it'll give you it'll give you a lot more information than whatever fucking, you know.
What are they going to get out of the chip in your arm? You're posting your desires, your wants.
Yeah.
You're clicking ads. You're talking while the microphone is on.
Yeah. Also, whatever fucking whack-ass cholesterol you got is going to kill that chip in 2 minutes.
Oh, dude, everybody knows AI can't.
You know what I mean? Like, suck my dick. You're fucking whatever fucking Mountain Dew Code Red you just drank, is that gonna fucking boil that thing?
It's gonna short circuit Johnny 5, dude. No disassemble.
Yeah, like, you know, the fucking, you know,
can only hold one Mountain Dew.
Fuck.
But so yeah, he had this thing. Sorry to do this little detour, but this guy is fascinating.
Oh sure,
it's fun.
And he, you know.
Dude, it's great for there to be like an interwoven narrative is awesome.
Yeah.
It's fun.
What do you mean?
What Bill Cooper did, like that Behold the Pale Horse.
Yeah.
Having a top to bottom explanation for everything that's gone on in the world.
Oh, yeah. I think a lot of these guys get lazy with the motive.
Yeah.
And like both of them because also you'll see as it goes, like David Icke just steals ideas from other people.
Yeah,
it's basically like, or they all do from each other, I guess.
Yeah,
so many.
But like having the answer to everything, you're never gonna hear David Icke in an interview go, I don't know, which is but not, and that doesn't bode well.
No, you don't trust somebody that says I don't know.
Yeah, and especially when he tells you that the moon is fake and Saturn is not Saturn.
We'll get to it.
But like So this guy, he UFO magazine had some exposés on Cooper and stuff like that, where they realized he had fake some like military documents. He was a very low-level naval officer. Yeah. Like he was just some guy that wanted to seem like he knew shit from the military, and whatever. Yeah. And so he started this thing of the coexistence with aliens from Eisenhower on. I mean, maybe he didn't start it, but he was very much into that sort of thing.
Yeah, I've seen They Live
and Illuminati. Yeah, it's very They Live, which is also Ike stuff too, right?
And a good movie.
Secret society, religions, a cult, they're all involved.
Yeah, he goes back to ancient Babylonia.
Skull and Bones, Bilderberg.
Freemasons.
Knights of Columbus.
Council on Foreign Relations.
They're all New World Order.
Council on
the CFR. Dude, Ike was way into the CFR. All these non-governmental agencies that don't have accountability.
Well, why would they hang out with each other unless it was some sort of scheme?
Right.
Trilateral Commission.
Yeah, the Trilateral. Bohemian Grove.
Means.
Yeah.
I knew a girl whose dad was in Bohemian Grove. She brought me a fucking napkin. It's just a big gay camping party.
Yeah. They have owls. Ronson was there. Them, he goes there.
Cooper also claimed the anti-Semitic conspiracy theory forgery of the protocols of the Elders of Zion was actually an Illuminati work.
Shit.
And instructed readers to substitute Scion for Zion, Illuminati for Jews, and cattle for Goyim.
If you change all the words, it means something deeper.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
If you write my name on the will.
I think he might have been the first one to say that JFK was assassinated for trying to reveal aliens were real and stuff.
No.
Well, that's why he was in Dallas. He was going to make a big speech about all the aliens.
Dallas.
Yeah.
Oh, and the guy that drove the limousine on JFK, he got a gas pressure device developed by aliens from the Trilateral Commission to shoot the president from the driver's seat. The Zapruder film shows Greer.
Why couldn't they just laser beam him from space with the Jews who have the lasers in space?
I don't know.
They were off that day.
Saturday.
It was a Saturday.
Sundown on Friday.
So he had some video trying to prove that was real, and they were like, "Oh, it's a fake with some Zapruder in."
Well, he's kind of close because there is the theory with JFK that
it was an accident.
The gun went off.
That's my favorite one.
Yeah, the Secret Service guy's gun went off, and it hit him.
It was the reaction to the gunshot from the school book depository.
Yeah.
Yes,
startled the driver of the limousine.
Or maybe he was in the back or something.
And the person in the back. Yeah. So there was like a pump brake gas maneuver from startling, a rifle shot from Oswald. And then with the Secret Service agent with the M16, pulled the trigger.
Yeah.
And that's why you get such a forceful explosion of brain through the front, and you get back into the left, and why the angle matches that way, and why you get a bullet in the sidewalk and stuff. And that's why they were so weird, with making sure that he was in, the whole thing being in Texas, and then trying to get the body out of Texas, and the bullet placed on the gurney,
dude.
Like an intact bullet on the gurney. It's my favorite conspiracy theory. I don't know that it's true, but it's the one that makes most sense, which is there was an accident and we got to cover it up.
We can't have the Secret Service killing the president.
We should blame it on the guy that tried to kill him as opposed to we fucked up while trying to defend him. It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's as if the 9/11, it's like the planes crashed into 9/11, but they didn't do the job. It's the whole controlled demolition thing.
Yeah.
Fuck, shit.
Yeah,
we gotta do it.
If we just left a
smoldering heap.
if we left a Boeing hangar under the second tower, just completely untouched.
Yeah,
it's just right before the planes crashed. Some guy he just took out the wrong screw.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Yeah, some guy took out a fucking nice fucking po' boy.
I love that conspiracy. It's my favorite. I think, and I want to believe it's true.
Yeah.
This guy Cooper also was into the idea of AIDS created to decrease the populations of blacks, Hispanics, and homosexuals. That would be passed around in South Africa by people.
Of course. AIDS or the rumor?
No, just his take on it from Cooper was passed around in like the year 2000. And so then from 92 on, he started doing a radio show, The Hour of the Time.
Is this now Ike?
No, this is
still
Cooper.
Bill Cooper.
Yeah. And he was doing it in the White Mountains in Icke, Arizona. And he would send it to WWCR Nashville via audio cassette, satellite link, or direct phone link.
You never know.
Where it was then broadcast by the shortwave transmitter, 100,000 watts. And he was well known in the militia movement for this show too. Timothy McVeigh was a fan of the show. And McVeigh, they said it was, I think the Daily Beast reported that he ordered a cassette, Waco the Big Lie, which he marketed he got that from Cooper. And he did, during the Waco siege in 93, he was broadcasting conspiracy stuff about it.
What's the conspiracy about Waco?
I mean,
they went in and they set fire to that building.
Yeah,
that's what happened.
They killed those people.
Well, I mean, yeah, but
tanks rolled in and shot fire bombs out of a tank.
It was very much like in that they rolled it into stuff with Ruby Ridge. There was a lot of
just like anti-government, anti-militia crackdown stuff.
Yeah, and they do Zog, they do Zionist-owned government or whatever the fuck, like all that shit.
Yeah,
you mean the guy named David Koresh?
I didn't hear the tapes. Yeah. I don't know what he said.
Well, Ronson talks about both of those in them, and basically it's just like there was this like moment of time, especially early in the Clinton presidency, where like the FBI fucked up badly twice in a row.
Yeah, they were trying to justify their budgets by overreacting to not big deal shit.
Yeah.
And then they, I don't know if Koresh. It's a cult, so chances are he was being like sexually weird. But like,
there wasn't any evidence.
But also there wasn't really any evidence.
You don't need to kill the non-Koreshes.
And also, my dad would always say, whenever they feel like they fucked up, they start throwing around child porn.
Yeah, they say that they're fucking. They said I think they did the same thing with Osama bin Laden too.
Yeah, no, they do with like my dad would say any dictator they topple. Like, if there's any
plus child porn.
They're like,
we found the stuff we brought.
Cooper would participate in
sprinkle some kitty porn on him. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Cooper would participate in the early radio shows of Alex Jones, who was an admirer. And in June, so this is June 28th, 2001, there's a televised interview with Osama bin Laden.
Mm-hmm.
June 28th.
Mm-hmm. With Bill on Bill's show?
No, televised.
Oh, it is like a news program.
Like 60 minutes?
Yeah.
Something like that. Got it.
And he said bin Laden is going to soon be blamed for a major attack on a large U.S. city, but don't you believe it? And immediately after the attacks on September 11th, he said the U.S. would soon be at war in 2, maybe 3 countries. And in the same year, 2001, he was getting more into the militia stuff, away from ufology, and he became convinced he was being personally hunted by Bill Clinton and the IRS.
Bill Clinton shows up with a beret on, fucking camo, like eye black.
Not even president.
Targeted by Bill, not hunted. But
it'd be funny if Bill was out there.
It'd be awesome.
But also the IRS. He probably is being the IRS because he's probably not filing his taxes correctly.
He was charged with tax evasion.
Yeah.
And then
the IRS is after me.
And for years he was evading arrest, and he was the Marshal Service named him a major fugitive. And they went to arrest him, the Apache County Sheriff's deputies in Eccentricity, Arizona, and because he was starting to like flex on his neighbors and stuff.
Oh, good, yeah. Keep it quiet.
Aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and endangerment stemming from disputes with local residents. And Cooper shot one of the deputies in the head, and then they shot him dead.
Yeah.
And the Marshal Service was like, yeah, it's known he would not be taken alive. Cooper, very popular in hip-hop. Public Enemy, Tupac, and Jay-Z have all referenced Cooper.
And they're all fucking anti-Semites, too.
Yeah, I mean, it's not looking good.
Well, I mean, what were the references? Were they
I don't
positive?
know. I don't know.
There can be negative references.
Popular does not mean negative references.
But popular might just mean reference.
I mean,
I don't know.
Usually be an anti-establishment.
Also, I mean, whatever. Conspiracy stuff also thrives in those circles.
Of course.
He
good reason.
He had, I think, silent weapons for quiet wars was a phrase, he got around. And like, Also, yeah, he probably was polished, and some of that shit sounds good.
Yeah.
X-Files, a lot of stuff.
Oh, tons of shit.
Taken from him. Musings of a cigarette smoking man. JFK is assassinated to prevent him revealing the existence of aliens. The X-Files movie in 98 takes silent weapons for quiet wars and features an agent named Cooper.
Yeah.
Which could be
DB Cooper.
a Twin Peaks reference, or it could be an homage to him. But yeah, that was one guy who wrote one thing, and sorry for the detour. But
It was fun. I enjoyed it.
He was really interesting, and I wanted to do it as another thing to show. After the protocols of the Elders of Zion, he's also leaning on a guy who's not explicitly going there, but he's dabbling in some things that are
eccentric.
Well, no, I mean anti-Semitic. So
Eccentric.
It's adding to this, thing. And let's take a little break, and we'll come right back.
Sure.
And we're back.
I guess.
Hey, that's cool. But are we?
So this thing too is like, they're talking about his book, and they were saying like all the documents that are reprinted and stuff like that. Like chapter 15 is just all of the protocols of the Elder of Zion.
Wait. So
In regard to Cooper's book, Beyond the Pale Horse.
okay.
Behold.
Behold the Pale Horse.
So Ike is talking about it and just reprints it, is what you're saying?
No, Cooper reprinted the protocols of the Elders
I
of
see.
Zion, which is
Sounds like he's in on it.
they're all.
It sounds like he's got some royalties.
They're all, but they're all trying to show that they have like this bevy of evidence when all they have is
a comic book.
Yeah, they have fucking papers and fucking bullshit. But you as a reader, when you're like, well, look, it's right there.
It's cited. He's got a footnote.
It's a thing where you go like, well, but it's got to be true if it's right there.
It's in the book. They wouldn't lie to us in books. Except the ones I don't believe in.
So Robots Rebellion from Ike, his 4th or 5th book now, is the one where the Green Party has like let him stay after the whole Logan thing, and
They just need people.
they so they still allowed him in 92 to address the party conference even after the interview and stuff like that.
Well, turquoise suit.
One of the speakers resigned over it, and then when Robots Rebellion comes out, they're like, you're banned because this is filled with anti-Semitic shit. And
Which and even if he doesn't mean it to be, it's very easily able to be taken that way by people with those proclivities.
yeah, and so I have a real.
It's like saying globalists or whatever.
Right.
Yes, and I have a hard time with the attacks on free speech that are like there's shit that sucks, but when it's like stuff like this where like white power people need to go underground and they use a lot of winking and stuff like that, it's a thing where you go like, all right, dude, yeah, like you got freedom of speech, but also like you got to suffer if people are fucking pissed about the fucking heads you're turning.
Yeah,
like that's fine. That's part of the deal of free speech.
Yeah,
and like,
well, right, but they that's where they try to play that second card of being like, well, you can't hurt me. It's free speech. But it's like, no, you're inciting violence
the government cannot,
against me.
Yeah, it means the government cannot censor you. But like, everyone can pull their ads from your platform.
Yeah. And a publisher can
they're free. There was a ruling that money is speech, so their speech is taking money away from you.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Well, yeah, he was bitching about American Cinematheque here in L.A. Wouldn't play.
Who was? Ike?
David Icke, as recently as 2019, wouldn't play his new movie, like Renegade or whatever.
It probably sucked.
Yeah, that's probably.
Well, no, I mean, listen,
well, that's his free speech right to make a terrible movie.
If it's getting over here and people are buying tickets and they knew who David Icke is, and then somebody at American Cinematheque at the last minute
is that right?
goes, all right, well, it's supposed to be maybe this guy could be into anti-Semitic shit.
Well, they should have watched it and made that determination for themselves.
Well, no, they were just saying that based on probably internet chatter, and I would bet they made the decision based on that.
It's possible. I mean, I'm sure somebody there watched it.
Yeah, but like, it's
Must
just,
have been hard to
I think it
watch.
was really just a thing like in this, like
Not a good climate to play it.
Not-
You might attract the wrong type of person. Sure, but it's American Cinematex. I mean, they don't have to play it.
Yeah.
they don't have to play it. That's the thing. Yeah, speech goes a million different ways.
Yeah, put it on Vimeo. Charge for it.
Vimeo will play it.
Vimeo will play it.
Daily Motion will play it.
X Hamster will play it.
Oh my God, they want it.
Yeah.
So in September '94, after like he's getting a lot of hype, or flack for this protocols thing, he's going, listen, it's not about Jewish. He's like, it's Zionist maybe, but he's going, whoever wrote it knew the game plan for humanity for the 20th century,
Right.
which in his mind is
Total global control.
aliens,
Right.
and he's also saying. Listen, Jewish, Muslim, like whatever. He's going like, dude,
They're all aliens to me.
no, he's going like it's down to us and the aliens. So
Me,
like,
man in
so
turquoise suit.
like he goes like all of these things are meant to divide us, but then also because the mainstream publishers wouldn't publish this shit. He starts self-publishing. And the truth shall set you free.
That's
the 95.
He's naked and shit with a white mullet.
And so it had a chapter questioning the fucking Holocaust.
Mm-hmm.
And this is
That's not a good look.
This is a quote from it. Why do we play a part in suppressing alternative information to the alternative information? God,
That's right. It's just they're
to the official line of the Second World War.
alternative facts.
How is it right that while this fierce suppression goes on, free copies of the Spielberg film Schindler's List are given to schools to indoctrinate children with the unchallenged version of events? And why do we, who say we oppose tyranny and demand freedom of speech, allow people to go to prison and be vilified and magazines to be closed down on the spot for suggesting another version of history? Your magazine can go out of business on its own, especially if you're doing Holocaust denial.
Yeah.
People going to jail, I do not agree with. Like I've said on the show before.
Yeah.
I think nobody will make people believe in Holocaust denial more than making
Putting them in jail.
illegal to say it.
Sure.
In countries like Austria and stuff, where I think that is.
Yeah. Follow the title of the book. The truth shall set you free.
Yeah.
Show the evidence.
But this idea that
how is it truth?
This idea,
it's alternative history.
But this idea that Spielberg is doling out copies of Schindler's List to get kids to believe in the Holocaust,
it's a compelling motion
versus
picture.
somebody that says something different. Like he's dabbling a toe. Like
does he say that about A League of Their Own?
Yeah.
That's a good movie.
Yeah. But is it real?
He also suggests that the Warburgs funded the Holocaust, part of the Rothschild Empire.
So wait, but is he saying there was a Holocaust? There wasn't.
No. I think he disputes the popular number.
Yeah, I don't think I ever heard him talk about
the
that.
number they were desperate to make higher.
The whole thing
Like-
is just about anything that's considered fact.
Anything that's the
Just-
official story it's
is.
contrarian.
Sure.
Yes,
sure.
it is, and it continues all the way to to today with vaccines and COVID and
You want to be the one who has the real the know-it-all, right?
mm,
So whatever the official, these people drink Pepsi, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like they want to be the RC Cola people.
So the mainstream publishers are not going to put this shit out. So he gets 15 grand from a friend, and he starts his own thing called Bridge of Love Publications, later called David Icke Books.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's a good change.
And he starts putting this shit out himself. He wanted to put all the conspiracy theories into one thing with just
That's just bad. That's just bad business.
just go on and on and on. And I think that was the biggest secret, which came out in 1999.
It is bad.
Yeah, was the one that had the reptile on the cover?
It was like, listen, if you've been following, cool, but like here's the encyclopedia for all my bullshit.
Yeah.
His book sold 140,000 copies between 98 and 2011. That's you're taking out the big splash of the initial 90.
And it's self-published. He doesn't have to pay a publisher.
And a value of over $2 million. So he's not struggling.
Well,
he wasn't for that period.
It's
of
not
time.
a huge amount
I
of
bet
money
he's got
these
some tax
days,
bills.
but small amount of money.
I think he's got another one, like some Children of the Matrix or something like that. Is another one. Another book.
He did.
And the Wachowskis are involved in that one.
2002. Biggest Secret was reprinted 6 times between 99 and 06.
It's a big book.
2002 book Alice in Wonderland and the World Trade Center Disaster.
Oh, that's a fucking amazing. That is just because we've all had dreams that merge those two.
Yeah.
It's just never seen it in print
Again,
before.
South Africa. Top 5 bestseller for years
Wow.
in South Africa.
If only they had heard about Alice in Wonderland before, or
2006. Also, you think about Iraq War, all that stuff. There's a lot.
The U.S. government did a really good job of making
a good
David
PR
Icke
job, yeah,
for David Icke.
for anybody on that fucking conspiracy thing, you know. His website was getting 600,000 hits a week in that year. 2011, the books have been translated into 11 languages.
But were any of them coherent or logical? Because they could have been alien languages. They could have been
Sumerian.
Yeah, they could have been,
Spoken
tablets.
Spoken in 25 countries.
In tongues.
No, he would sell out not arenas.
Brixton Academy, 2,500 people.
Mm-hmm.
7 hours he talks.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, because he doesn't make any sense, so he has to talk.
There's like an hour and a half where he does. That's the thing in those.
But it's always like 30 seconds.
No, dude,
30 seconds here.
That guy can fucking talk.
30 seconds
I believe it,
here.
but I mean, I'm not saying he's talking in tongues or babbling. What I'm saying is,
No, he's talking quite eloquently.
he's very eloquent, very convincing. It's in the 7 hours. There is a good hour and a half stretch of, oh fuck, and the rest you're like, oh, energetic vampire. You're like the energetic vampire shapeshifting reptile stuff that he gets into after 9/11 kind of is the turd in the punch bowl, to borrow a phrase
Which is too bad.
from Alex Jones of all people.
in John Ronson's book.
But that's his gift was, that he was like, he did the best job at connecting the dots of money and wars and
Royal family.
I mean,
and
like oil.
saying there was pedophile cults and stuff like that.
Okay, but is it like remember in the Ervil episodes where it maybe like he would just talk nonstop and eventually
You're gonna say something right. Yeah.
No, but eventually just be like, fine, I agree with you.
That's not David Icke.
No, because you have to choose. It's not getting shoved down your throat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
okay.
David Icke would
Okay.
make like coherent points and connect dots of like, this happened and then it funded this, and he would do that to
Right,
a point.
it's not logical, but it's coherent.
No, some of it is fact. Like, the Bush family, sold shit to the Nazis in
Right.
World War
Sure,
II, like
sure,
that
sure.
stuff.
Yeah, you
Sure,
start-
that is fact, but like
You
connecting
start-
it to something that isn't that.
Well,
isn't,
once he gets
it's
to the
logical,
reptiles,
but it's coherent.
yeah.
Yeah, you start with seeds of truth. Once you're saying the moon isn't real, and you realize you're still going with the guy. He's just kind of a British guy. He's talking like this, and he's saying, "Oh, mate, fuck, and he's talking like this, and he's not really full of himself. You know what I mean? But you also notice that he's not ever really fallible, and he's gentle, and it's nice, and he's going on like this,
And he has all the answers.
and he's saying things, and he's going on, and he's going, and
of course,
and he's saying and what it is, and it always starts with something you can identify with. Where he's going like, you think about the programming. He's going, your parents are programmed. You get the programming from them because they think they were right. Now you're taking that programming out to everything else, right? And he's like, and then there's peer pressure programming, right? And he's like, and you're going here, and it starts with all these things, and he's going, and it will start with, if you're going down a conspiracy hole, with something like the Blue Bloods. And the royal family is a German family from over here, and they were all about preserving the bloodlines for some reason. What's that about?
And so he's right? Like,
Right.
All of those things are true so far.
Every royal family is about preserving the bloodline. And then he takes it to the point of where, like, oh, the DNA is a harmonic crystal molecule that the reptiles are trying to siphon energy through. Like,
Oh, this is the new Avatar.
it's when it goes like off the rails that you're like, what the fuck are you talking? But everything up until that is a history lesson.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
it if anything, like it like when I would watch his videos on YouTube in college in 2006, I'd be like, is that true? Like this, the royal family? And I would go like, oh, that guy really did fucking parachute into like the Tower of London or whatever.
Yeah.
There was some like historical.
Like Rudolph Hess.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Yeah, and that it plays so much into when it's about preserving wealth. Is the intermarriage?
Sure.
Instead, they play it as preserving this reptile blood.
Like,
but it works for both.
Sure. What's the difference?
So, like...
money's green, reptiles are green.
David Icke.
Teal.
He in 1997, he amicably divorced his wife, Michaela, the angel of Michael or whatever. And he met his second wife in Jamaica. And,
oh, God.
And they,
how did that happen?
They were together for like 3 years, divorced 2011.
That never happens.
Stood for Parliament in Yorkshire.
Anybody can do it.
On the issue of Big Brother, the Big Picture, not the show.
He was years ahead of his time on that one.
He came in 12th out of 26. And
hey, man wearing a trash can for a head beat him.
And he got I think in recent times he got thrown off YouTube for being one of the most consistent relayers of misinformation about COVID-19.
Yeah.
Where they were
that's right up his alley.
Yeah, like just stop. I think he called the scientific method bollocks one time.
Okay, go home.
Yeah, he called climate change bollocks.
Meanwhile, he's without climate change. How is Los Angeles going to turn into an island?
The thing is like it so reeks of the TV presenter.
He seems like he starts pandering to his audience there. Like you expect, you don't. If you're a David Icke fan, the last thing you want.
Yes and circle.
Yeah, it's a circle jerk.
No,
because if David Icke says, "Oh no, vaccine, the COVID-19 vaccine is fine," like. Then you go, oh, he's got turned by the deep state. He's a fucking KGB. What? Like, it's in his brand to deny that it's real or effective or safe or whatever. He wouldn't be David Icke if he didn't.
Yeah, and there's a weird thing there too, where it's like, because it starts off in this new age thing, which he still very much thinks he is in. And in fairness, you have to give it to him. Like he hasn't embraced the blowback so much of the cancel culture. They're all out to get you because he was like, I've been canceled since day one. So
the angels told me.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't fucking give a fuck. You know what I mean? And he still maintains the basic stuff I do of what I do is it's not sexist, it's not racist, it's not homophobic, it's not anti-Semitic. I mean, I'm telling you what he's saying.
Yeah, sure.
And it still comes from this thing, too, where it's like a little bit of, I come from a little bit of like the privileged guy. There's some class to him.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Because he is a charismatic kind of guy.
Yeah.
And you think like, oh yeah, like I mean, for a good while there's nobody else from the British entertainment apparatus that is saying, oh yeah, all of these things are true, and you're lying to all these poor people, and it's really wrong. Like he's been hosting his own show.
Yeah.
If you think about it in that way, if you still take him as a TV presenter, he goes just like, I'm gonna just put on the fucking biggest show on earth, and going back to theosophy and stuff like that, where you go like. At the turn of the fucking 1900s, that would have been the biggest show on earth.
Yeah.
And he kind of bet on that. And I would have absolutely no surprise whatsoever if he didn't believe a single fucking word he was saying. I don't know how you feel about him. I think it very much helps to believe your bullshit.
I think he believes the believable shit.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, some of it is verifiable fact, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some of the historically documented, or like all of the stuff that he said is historically documented, you have to believe.
Mm-hmm. If
it's
you got to check it if you're listening to him.
Yeah, and you do, do. And if you do listen to David Icke, you'll know your spidey sense will go off at points. And trust your spidey sense. Go look it up.
Anybody can say this is documented. Anybody can say
no, what I mean is go look it up.
Yeah.
When your spidey sense goes off, go look it up.
Yeah.
Wherever that threshold may be for you,
Right.
go look it up.
And also, don't be satisfied because you looked it up and it was right
Right.
the next time.
Because it'll be wrong the next time.
Yeah.
And I don't think we're doing like a proper thing of saying the big crux of the whole thing was reptilians, right?
Yeah. So the big. This is where if your spidey sense doesn't go off,
You're a
it's
reptile.
broken.
Yeah,
Oh.
and he swings big here, and it's still stuff that he didn't really originate with. It is.
Well, he had to learn. He had to, wade his way.
but he
through
kind of he lists about the Anunnaki.
Right. And so, there was like guys like Jim Mars or Eric von Daniken,
names
these
like that.
ancient aliens type of guys.
Or just Jeff.
They said it was either aliens shape-shifting or aliens intermarrying with humans.
Right. So he would
sounds
go
fucking
back
hot.
and he would go to like Old Testament texts with the Anunnaki, which would like translates to like those to earth from heaven.
Oh yeah, it's the thing
it's
of
ancient Sumerian.
It's
and
the
old-
idea that
the Nephilim.
the angels that were perceived to be angels were aliens.
In the Old
What?
Testament, the Nephilim come down and they have children with the
Oh, shit.
children of men or,
Yes.
or whatever,
Guys.
And
Children of guys.
you believe in that. I don't think the aliens believe in gender, dude. And so like he takes this big leap and he does this like wonderful slideshow of all the different iconography throughout ancient, ancient art and stone carvings. It's like, oh look, this is fucking hybrids and chimera. Like he doesn't take into account that sometimes, like just because there's a comic book and there's the Incredible Hulk,
right.
it doesn't mean that the Incredible Hulk existed.
Yeah. No, it is such a. I was just thinking about that. Like such a weird dichotomy.
Do you know
like,
what art is?
The conspiracy guy believing in the Bible is such an interesting. Just like it,
Right.
of all the things,
Right.
Yeah. Well, they're perceived then as historical texts, right?
Or at least semi-historical, based
Right.
on somewhat, because, the story of Troy was considered a myth until they found it, right? And so there's precedence for that.
Yeah.
And there's truth in some parts of the Bible. Like there are historical parts to the Bible, right?
Yes.
Or in the Old Testament.
there have been
Like,
great floods throughout history.
right. And there have been, cataclysms, whatever.
But has there been Sodom?
Where did the
Let me tell you.
reptile shit come in?
Yeah.
That was Gomorrah.
It was maybe I think the first instance was like they found some old sci-fi thing. That was like the first time somebody was like, oh okay, secret cabal of reptilians.
Hell yeah.
And it
What do you mean they found some old sci-fi thing?
like it's they meaning like everybody on the internet is like, here's the first instance of the reptilian shifters. It's an older sci-fi author.
How old?
Not too much older. Still 20th century.
So that's their. So the internet sleuths, they go, here's the first record we can find
Yeah.
about. The fucking that TV movie
And,
V.
And V comes, and so it's a thing where but then you just keep adding on and adding
And
on.
then he gets into Genesis or like the
But
serpent.
since he had a platform, like I said, like he started with fame, right? And then once he gets his shit out there, people have this thing where they're like, they'll push it for you. The people making
Yes,
the
right,
people
exactly.
making those like bad compression vids where celebrities' eyes are supposed to like
Yeah.
open sideways,
the slits.
yeah, or they're supposed to be all black all over.
Here's Dick Cheney and Queen Elizabeth, and they got sideways reptile eyelids.
Yeah,
Go.
and you just see bad videos that are like completely fake.
I wish our listeners were that.
Yeah, do
fervent.
that for us.
Like, can you push us like David Icke?
Yeah. Lizard me, baby.
The Anunnaki was supposed to be from the Draco constellation.
Oh, dragon. Wow.
And
Clever.
and like
I'm more of a Libra myself.
people will ask like Zuckerberg, like if in Q&A, like are you a reptilian?
Well,
And stuff
Louis C.K. called in and asked Donald Rumsfeld on ONA,
right.
and he didn't answer.
Yeah.
What? Only a lizard wouldn't answer that.
That's right.
So part of the thing is they they came here from another dimension.
Right, they are interdimensional. They feed off your energy.
They've been. And
Why are they still
They
here?
come from a fourth dimension, and they're also ruled by a fifth dimension.
Which one of those is the Twilight Zone?
Reeks of Scientology.
And they well, it's one of the critics said like it just gives him an out of being like, where did they come from?
right.
Yeah, of course.
But then he goes on to be like,
The question is
the
when.
moon is the moon is a hologram. It's also a spaceship.
Oh, we got to go back to the spaceship, dude.
Saturn, emits out all kinds of shit. Saturn ain't what you think it is. This ain't your mama's Saturn.
This relates to 2001: A Space Odyssey, in that the planet that the other monolith is around was supposed to be Saturn.
Oh,
For this reason,
really?
I mean, it looks cool.
Ike reasons?
No, not Ike reasons, but
Because I don't think he had gotten there
no,
yet.
no. It wasn't Ike reasons, but like, the cosmology mythology of Saturn as the king, like the father
Very
of
much,
Jupiter.
yes.
It looks cool,
Mm-hmm.
and the this kind of secret history bullshit
Yeah.
of it, but he couldn't nail down the rings with his effects at the time, so they made it Jupiter.
So the whole
Just another example of life imitating art.
So a lot of the thing is like there's a lot going on here, which is they're supposed to maybe come here, the reptiles, because they want Earth gold is better than
That's right, gold. They're mining gold.
and
Wait, Earth gold is better than space gold?
Yeah, space gold.
because there's
Whack,
Space
bro.
gold come from anywhere.
there's plenty of gold in space, I guess.
It's like
more
crypto to
diamonds
them,
even.
yeah.
But then there's also a thing too where their thing is to keep us in a perpetual state of disharmony.
Did they breed us with the apes?
Because they feed off bad vibes.
Yeah.
So they're always
yeah,
they're,
me too, man.
They're always doing
Cool. All right.
PRS, which is a problem response or
The program. It's
and solution.
Yeah, it's a
problem response solution.
yeah, something
is
like that,
the
yeah.
way I heard it. But it's just like a thing of like something like 9/11. And
yes.
it's like
Create a problem so that the response you get. I mean, if you watch Andor, you know what we're talking about.
But yeah, so
Problem reaction solution. That's what it is. It's
Yeah.
problem reaction solution.
yeah.
I got that.
Oh, you talk to your doctor about problem reaction solution. If you suffer a problem whose reaction is longer than 4 hours,
Here's the
talk to your doctor. He may have a solution, or
yeah.
she.
So there's and the thing is
Or
like
lizard.
that's why the answer is love.
Which is cool.
It's because like just if we all cool out and don't fall for their tricks, like in They Live, then suddenly like they'll starve. Sort of is the idea. But this is what I was gonna say earlier is I think they get lazy with the motive.
Who's that?
The lizards or
In the case of Cooper and Ike,
they get lazy a lot of things.
the thing is like no, they have to get extra creative when they don't have an answer.
Sure.
Then they got to talk to you for a long time.
Sure.
Yeah.
But when it's just like, why do they want to do it? It's like, take away your freedom, dude. It's
Yeah.
like, you tell me extra dimensional fucking aliens care about my freedom?
They showed up here for our goal.
Do I give a shit what an ant does?
Why are they still
As
here?
long as the ant is not up my ass eating my fucking
Well,
Cookie Crisp or whatever.
It could be like a chimera situation.
But you know what I mean? Like,
Also, do you think an alien is going to think that me paying rent and having to buy food and medical care is going to be like, that guy's free?
yeah, you blaming it on you blaming our problems on aliens is the most alien shit ever.
Yeah.
We're the problem.
Yeah.
It's not the aliens.
Oh, yeah.
You saying that aliens are making us butt fuck each other with however we're fucking each other is the aliens' fault is the most alien thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't need aliens to cause problems for each other. We've been doing that forever.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. By the way, it was the Conan creator that started the
Robert E. Howard.
Yes.
He started the reptilian
Shadow Kingdom in Weird Tales, old comic book.
shape-shifting
okay.
reptiles? Were they from another dimension?
Yeah, it's theosophical ideas of Atlantis and Lemuria and Secret Doctrine.
That's all theosophical.
For dragon men.
Yes,
Who
yes.
once had a,
Cool. They sound like a problem. The
H.P.
lizards,
Lovecraft dabbled in some of that too.
Sure,
Bet he
sure.
did.
And there was the Nazi stuff with like the Vril, the Hollow Earth stuff, Vril Society. And then even in the new Matrix movie, which was dog shit, they weaponize the bad vibes thing. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we make you guys be so close to what you want, but you can't have it, and that's what powers us now. You know, like,
yeah, they just want to fly.
it's such a bad, unnecessary movie, but
I did watch it. Yeah,
it came. You know, they
was-
were better directors when they were men.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Aaron, people are feeding off those vibes. You need to.
Well, yeah, maybe I'm a fucking reptile, bro, or maybe I'm an amphibian because
Yeah, like why haven't they left? Like, is it really that hard for them to get the gold?
dude, they can't. Yeah, I mean, you can control entire societies. You can synthesize gold.
Like, why don't they just take Fort Knox? Like, it almost happened in a Bond movie. They could figure it out.
Yeah, gold.
Yeah.
Go find an asteroid.
Yeah, what do they do? What do they do with gold?
I think it has to do like reflecting that their
I think-
planets. It's like Krypton. It's like it's
yes.
climate change, which is fake, but we need the gold to reflect the light.
I can't find a modern list of who is supposed to be a reptilian.
Oh, dude, you know who's? There's a lot.
Oh, God.
Men in Black fucked with it. When Men in Black came out, they made fun of all
My
this.
favorite one I remember was just Chris Christopherson.
It's Chris Christopherson. That's my favorite one too. It's Chris Christopherson.
That's the best.
What, dude?
it's
Whistler
so-
from Blade.
It's so low on
Chris Christopherson.
Well, he was a pilot.
He's Whistler. He is Blade's Alfred.
Yeah.
I remember watching a YouTube video
that's like a personal vendetta.
being like,
There's-
what
yeah,
did
yeah,
Chris
yeah.
Christopherson do to David?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He was like, fuck you, man. I was in Vietnam. Fuck you.
Chris
He
Christopherson.
probably blinked weird one time, and then like they were just like, "Oh, dude."
Yeah, you did the sideways blink.
No. It's like if David, like if
Chris Christopherson.
if these people believe it, if like the person at Starbucks writes their name wrong, they're like, probably fucking lizard, dude.
Oh yeah, glitch in the Matrix big
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
But like, here's the thing too. Like, I don't get, and you know,
Well, if you got it, John, you'd be.
like, no, I mean, I'm talking about like the way this man has to live his life, right? Because I'm not fucking, I don't want to bully either, but also I'm like,
Ike?
huh?
He said he's not a bully.
No. I mean, like the way Ike has to live his life is what you're saying.
Who's Ike? Oh, David Icke. No,
Yeah.
no, I'm
Who's
saying.
Ike?
I was
The
saying-
guy you're doing the show about.
I thought I went to Ike.
Oh,
The way
I like Ike.
Yeah. No, I like
the way who has to live their life?
him.
David
David.
Icke.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only people we were talking to were insane.
Yes.
And so somebody's going, if somebody's
Yeah.
going like, dude, fucking Jessica Simpson ain't her since
She's gonna clone.
2007, and you're going like, do I take this on or do I not? Like,
It's like
Or do I
Kanye's doing the thing right now.
like,
about-
do I change the subject? Like, fucking Matt Taibbi was when he was talking about like fucking
Twitter files?
the 9/11 conspiracies are dumb, and they started picketing Rolling Stone, and then I went downstairs and I was like, hey, do you guys want to go like to a diner and talk? And then like I started talking to all of them at once at a table, and I was like finding out like, oh, you don't even agree
with each other.
you with each other? Like you're going, some people are going like, oh, the
The
whole
moon
thing
is fake.
the whole
No.
thing was a hologram, and you're going like, dude, conspiracy theories used to be like, let's find out who killed JFK.
Now it's
Now-
who's got the most fanciful idea of why my life
Yeah,
sucks?
now it's just anything but the written narrative.
Yeah.
And that is,
Dude, if subscribe to the conspiracy subreddit.
Oh, Christ.
I don't think I need that.
No.
in my
Oh,
life.
it's
No.
like it's fun because every
It's fun.
third or fourth top post is what the fuck have we become?
Oh, as a community.
Yes.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
that is
it's
good.
becoming self-aware in so much that they realize like, okay, because they'll be like, somebody will post some clickbait bullshit
yeah.
about a vaccine or whatever it is, and then like the third post down will be like, or how about you look at a real source
Oh, yeah, sure.
and look at this, and they'll be like,
and the thing is-
okay.
the thing is-
I remember when we were here trying to solve problems.
and the thing is too is like, like they'll be like, with Ike.
Where'd the money from the Pentagon go?
Yeah, Ike
Where does it ever go?
Ike will be like, all right, there's pedophiles and society like in upper crust, and you're going like, okay, like, you were right there, but also like you didn't say who or anything.
There's pedophiles everywhere.
9/11, like whatever. You're going like, dude, fucking. You also said fucking LA would be an island, so shut up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Well, I mean, emotionally.
a broken clock is right twice a day, and
And even a blind squirrel finds a nut.
Well, you know, a lot of broken clocks now are digital, and you know,
they're still going to be right.
No, because it'll say AM on it, and it isn't.
But like, if you just go around making wild, outrageous claims all the fucking time, and then people go like, "But he was right about this one." It's like, okay, stack that against everything else insane.
Have you ever seen somebody morph into I've seen No Way Home.
No.
I've seen a guy turn into a lizard. That's it. I've seen Spider-Man.
You know, I don't.
Yes,
I don't think Dr. Kirk Connors is trying to take over the world with all the Jews.
I saw a man turn into sand once.
You said it, neighbor.
Yeah, I like, you know, there's just a thing too where it's like,
but
he's also always said too that it's like, you know, it sounds as if like they'll make it sound like everybody named in the initial list is just Jewish people, and you go like, no, it's not.
Chris Christopherson.
Yeah, and, or you know, fucking
O'Connor.
Like, you know, the Morgans or the Rockefellers. Like it's not as if like it's like, oh, maybe it's some coincidence, like, you know. But then when he also would say like, he would then throw in okay, they're supposed to feed off bad vibes, right? But then he would throw in blood drinking, and you go like, dude, that's old Jew hating shit too.
Yeah,
well, now it's more Peter Thiel hating stuff.
Who?
So it's homophobic.
It's homophobic.
Peter Thiel was one of the he's a VC early investor in Facebook, and then
yes,
PayPal.
He was a friend of Elon,
but like
supporter of Trump, but also drinks young people blood.
Yeah,
it's just a thing where I go like, I think he knows what to make sexy.
Well, and there are things that we find as a human being. There are things that are very easy buttons to push. Killing babies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Pedophile rings.
Pedophile ring, like fucking kids.
Ripping up
a small group of shady people controlling you. Like
ripping up a picture of the Pope. That, you know, even though it was about the sex abuse, which it seems like he should have been on her side.
Has he done? Well, no, Pope John Paul. He was also hiding.
Oh, that's what I mean. But it seems like Ike should have been on Sinead's side.
Yeah. But did Ike ever rescind any stuff like the bad predictions? Or
no, I mean, I think
I stopped way back in
bad predictions are good predictions that haven't come true yet.
You know, it's sad because like for a guy that never shuts the fuck up, I have not heard an interview, and I've listened to a few. Logan couldn't really do it because Logan was then characterized as the bully, even when he comes back later. But there's a thing where you go like, does anybody ever press him on like, what the fuck about the world ending in 97? Like, and I haven't heard that. There's a thing where
do you remember in Ghostbusters?
I think people feel like bullies, and they don't want to make it extra cringe.
Be a good journalist.
Yeah.
Yes, duh. If you're giving him a platform, you better be like,
you owe it to your viewership.
Yeah, to ask a question.
To ask a good question.
Yeah, and I think he like basically makes it up in being like, I was still in the middle of my first foray into paranormal stuff, and I was reeling from the experience, but also everything he says afterward, with the conspiracy theories and everything he presents as fact, it's all meant to be like, we can't see it, right? You can't see it. We can't see Wi-Fi. But the computer knows it's there. So in this thing, he's the computer.
Right.
It's a thing.
He's
where
a medium.
It's going like
he's saying he's a channel.
He's going. I'm special.
You're not
because I went through these things. And then when you attune your mind to the shit that I'm saying, you'll suddenly see some eyelids go sideways and stuff like that. So it's like, you're only gonna get it if you agree with me is almost the thing. Like,
I can't believe he didn't start selling supplements.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. If only he knew.
Well, who knows?
He might be like, oh, here's the David Icke sideways eyes seeing vitamin supplement.
Well, lizard away.
There should be like a whole public forum where David sits in, like, you know, he sits somewhere and you go, are you seeing? Let me know. Let me know when you see the eyelids. Let me know when you see the eyelids. David,
that's
eyelids?
The sound of sideways eyelids.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
No. Sounds like jerking off.
Oh, God, do you see that girl with her eyelids sideways?
Oh, God. Big retina action.
Oh, God.
Put it in my mouth.
Pupil.
Yeah, you know, it is, you know, it's funny how the conspiracy community turned against them in their heyday too.
Well, rightly so. I mean, like we've said many times on the show, and it's bears repeating that Alex Jones was the guy that said, fuck David Icke. He's the guy that shits in the punch bowl of our whole community by putting in all this weird, unverifiable, paranormal UFO shit when, like, I'm talking about, you know,
unverifiable.
Well, at the time, in the very beginning,
right.
Alex Jones was like, oh, okay, it's all about the money, and it's all about power and influence and controlling the media.
Yeah.
Like,
this was the time when the conspiracy, but then
when he was in Waking Life by Richard Linklater.
But I also think he learned from David Icke, where he goes, "Why not go big?
And why not sell supplements?
Why not go big?
Why not sell supplements?"
No,
David Icke?
but really, like, do you like, you know, there's something about it where you go like, oh.
Dude, he did. He went big. He went into the adrenochrome drinking.
Oh, he went fucking huge.
He went on Joe Rogan,
but
talking about adrenochrome drinking Satan.
So when I think of Alex Jones saying that statement now in the late 90s, David Icke is a turd in the punch bowl, I think about Alex Jones going,
I could be
David Icke makes more money than me, and I'm mad.
Yeah.
And I think that's when he goes like, all right, let's fuck crisis actors, dude. The frogs are gay. I don't give a fuck.
Let's fucking look up naughty T-babes on our iPhones and deny it.
Let's fucking go. You know what I mean?
But even in them, when all it comes around his book, like Jones, he just sounds like another one of those shit conspiracy theory guys. But he does. You're right. He does.
Back in the day, he was like really like just an aggressive libertarian, like, journalist.
There was something,
but even in
he was always an asshole,
even,
for sure.
Even in them, like even
Dude, I'm
reading
going
it
back
today.
Further.
Okay, that's fair, but I'm just saying, even in reading them, like
at the time, I think we can all agree there was something about it that kind of reeked of this weird, crazy libertarian American spirit that we were like fascinated with because it also went to crazy places of our imagination. And
we were like, well, what if we are being totally controlled through the 10 channels that we get, or what, you know, like, it was at this weird, you know, crossroads of the information revolution and 9/11, and being like, oh fuck, what if we're not getting the whole story, and we don't realize that, like, 8 corporations control everything we eat and watch.
I mean, no. To be fair, that's not a conspiracy. We already knew that.
It's just a fact.
Saturday Night Live had a
Conspiracy Theory Rock.
Yes, an animated that was like 97.
Yeah, but not everybody watches SNL.
I know, but that SNL is generally a gauge of some sort of mainstream thought. Like, that is not,
right.
Yeah, it's not a new idea. We already knew that.
Yeah, but towards the end of the 90s, that was the thing, like, when we got more interested in it. Like,
that's the same crossroads that I'm talking about.
There was a thing.
It's that same time period.
Yeah, and mainstream America was kind of was kind of going like, I don't think Waco needed to go down that way and stuff. Like, there was things like in the mainstream American culture where it was going like,
it didn't take 9/11 for us to wake up.
No,
but people have been thinking that for a long time. It's just that it's not
the mainstream.
It's what I mean.
No, and very pre-internet, definitely not.
Yeah, pre-internet. Yeah, no way.
I don't know. I mean, there's a reason that they had rules against monopolies because there was.
Well, people were that was like in the 20s. People were better informed.
No. I mean, not necessarily.
Dude.
Not necessarily.
20s, I wouldn't say that.
Well, some people were better.
It really depended on how good your local newspaper was.
Some people weren't lettered in the 20s.
Okay, yeah, I take that back. There were some people in power who were better informed and better intentioned.
No, I mean,
I would say maybe more in the 30s, like after the New Deal or something. But
sure,
the 20s, I was still like, let's go butt fuck everybody.
Yeah, no, okay.
Well, what's wrong with that?
Fair enough.
You mean the corporations are saying that?
But
no, let's go down.
There was the post-war post-nut high was real intoxicating for a good portion of the country and then later the world, right? So you get like better living through chemistry and color TV and fucking
Yeah, but dude, I think all that shit was still also kind of always like in the zeitgeist, you know, like with
but you don't think that there was a period of time right around, like in that late 90s and then right after 9/11 period where people were questioning the official narrative?
Well, of course, of course, but they were doing that about JFK. I mean, like they've always been doing that.
Yeah,
But to that degree,
The JFK conspiracy is pretty fucking big.
it dovetailed.
Yes.
It dovetailed.
Yeah, of
with
course.
It dovetailed
Of
with
course.
the internet taking off big time.
Certainly, I mean that made it like
having a subculture that was easily accessible before you had to like go underneath a library or subscribe to a zine.
Well,
or
and I was very much in that culture too, in punk culture. That stuff would thrive.
The internet, though, like it gave another outlet. It was, you know, instead of doing what were the letters you would get, where it's like 10 people had this letter,
A chain letter?
chain letter.
Yeah,
Like the internet kind of
A lot of it
took that to another level.
extremely
A lot of it fucked it up too. Because like you know,
Talk radio.
just you know the thing of like,
Heartfelt.
because there was a thing where you go like, you know, you would see some like A&E doc or whatever. It'd be about JFK, whatever, and you're going like, some people don't think these marksmen couldn't pull off the shot and like. Stuff like that, and you're going, oh, okay, like, you know, there's something there, and then you would have like some reasonable discussion about it with like your dad in your house or something like that, and you know,
tell you you're stupid.
but it wasn't like an endless message board that was updated every 3 minutes, being like, actually Kennedy shot himself.
It gave you time to ruminate and think about it and be like, but then.
Also, David Icke, I don't know if I said this in the show, but David Icke was very big on the phrasing of conspiracy theorists coming up as a pejorative in the wake of the JFK shooting.
Yes.
Because the CIA was basically saying, like, here is the official narrative to the news media. And they were going, like, if anybody is saying otherwise,
They're conspiracy.
use the phrase conspiracy theorist. And also, when you think, when you throw down conspiracy theorists, you go, like, oh, 2 or more people getting together to try to have a shared goal.
Conspiracy.
Like, everybody's a conspiracy.
Yeah.
Like me and you can conspire on lunch.
Oh, dude. And we can
Yeah,
theorize
that
about
sounds
if it's
awesome.
better or not.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Awesome.
God, I might be stealing this from Joe Rogan, but like, if you want to talk about a 9/11 conspiracy, how about 12 Arab guys in a cave talking about hijacking planes and flying them into buildings?
Or the fact
And
that
one of them's hooked up to a dialysis machine. He's half robot. They did it. That was a conspiracy that worked.
Yeah.
They conspired to fly planes into buildings, and it happened.
And nobody had done it before, and it was genius.
They saw Star Wars.
the FBI didn't
New Hope.
they didn't talk to the CIA, even though one of them had the information.
Yes.
Because they were like, don't ever talk to them.
No, there were laws against it.
Right.
There were laws against it.
the thing is, too,
That's a conspiracy. What was Thomas Jefferson doing when he wrote
the
that?
separation of power.
the thing is, too, is that, like, it was like, they were like, oh, that administration got everything it needed to go to war. It was like, that was an administration that was going to war.
No matter.
If nothing happened.
Yeah.
Like, they were all coming in really hot from Nixon, Reagan, Bush one. And Cheney didn't sell his shares in Halliburton before becoming the vice president, which had never happened before.
And picked himself for vice president.
Picked himself, in presidential history. It's like these guys were
This
guys
is
were-
way more interesting than alien reptiles.
Yeah, these guys were gangsters from day one, and then they were like, they got to capitalize on it, but also like you can't ever forget, like, these guys were asleep at the wheel when the worst attack since Pearl Harbor happened on American soil,
and that's
like
why
nobody can ever forget.
That's
that.
why they had
when they were warned.
They had to create something. They were like, screwball. We have info. Then they had to scuttle for like bullshit.
So I remember one thing that I got from early David Icke stuff was he talked about this document called the Project for a New American Century.
Yes.
And in that document, it's from a conservative think tank from like 1999 or 2000, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Great.
And you know, all these
Probably like Wolfowitz and stuff.
Yeah, all these GOP heavy, all these neocons were on it. I mean, it makes you long for the days of neocons.
The best of the worst.
It makes
it makes you long for the days of neocons. at least they were logical and competent at their treachery.
They were greedy, but they had a plan.
Yeah, they executed, coherent plans. And in it says like, here's our, like, it would be great if we could take X, Y, and Z countries and,
right.
regime change them and, put, install, shell or whatever. Like, Americanize this part of the world, the Middle East.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Well,
especially Iraq, and a lot of this will never happen barring some sort of galvanizing event that will motivate our population to be in favor of these things, akin to a new Pearl Harbor. Right. And that's like the key phrase, is like akin to a new Pearl Harbor. And then like 6 months later, a year later, 9/11 happens.
Right.
And it doesn't mean that they fucking built drones and flew them into the World Trade Center tower. It means they didn't let a good tragedy go to waste.
Yeah,
no. Yeah,
that's all it means.
Oh yeah, crisis not going to waste is very much part of their playbook.
Can I ask you something?
Yes.
What's the deal? What happened? Because I still don't have a good answer on this about the events of 9/11.
I was in Ireland, so
well, you probably know more than anybody. Then
you might have a Matt. You too.
Oh.
What happened at the Like, there's no footage of the Pentagon shit.
Well, they probably just would never release it.
Yeah.
Like, why not?
Because there might be any sort of secret.
Yeah, like a national security thing.
But they show like here's like a nose of something and then explosion and then like you get 2 frames.
Yeah. Do you think if it was MI5 that they'd be like, here's the compound and here's how to fuck us up if you ever want to do it from the air?
I mean, like, but they show you, then they show you like everything, like.
Well, it could have been like, because if they show the video, they're probably like, oh, a dead body, or I don't know. I'm sure they have a reason. There's not a good reason.
Yeah, there's a thing there.
There's a bad reason why they don't.
It's a conspiracy.
No, it's a thing where you go. It's just a thing where you go.
When
like,
the plane hit, an alien shot out the back.
No,
I don't think that at all.
No, I think it's just a thing of like we're not going to give you any more help here at the military level. We're the ones that are kind of supposed to get hit because we're military. You know what I mean? And like these guys
they actually did it
in the towers, like that's like a civilian target, and like let's keep the cameras on that.
Okay.
Plus, it's so much more of a symbol than the Pentagon. Like, there's not a lot of tears.
Well, the Pentagon is literally a symbol.
But it's not going to... You know exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's a cultural zeitgeist moment, of course.
The 2-story fucking Pentagon.
But doesn't it also fuel the fires of conspiracy of like, well, why don't they show us that a plane did hit the Pentagon?
No, the Pentagon doesn't care about that.
Why don't they show us inside and show us the basement and show us everything?
Well, they showed us quite a bit. I don't think... Like, listen, man. I think a plane hit the Pentagon.
Yeah,
it seems like it.
I think they think it's like mind your business.
Well, and it is our business because we pay for it.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
It is. It's mine.
Right.
Like, there's a 0.001%.
And so, what do you want to see? The secretary that was blown to shit by?
No, I like. Why don't you like? It's one of the most heavily guarded buildings in the world.
Right.
That
not from
I have
the sky.
Well, they should have built a bigger wall.
Well, clearly not. But it did. I mean, it did its job to like 2 layers deep or whatever. But like,
yeah, it seems like the impact was fairly minimal for.
Right. So I'm one.
Yeah, they didn't destroy the food
question is,
court,
why don't they? I mean, they show you everything else.
Mm-hmm.
So what? Like, I'm asking what your opinion is. I'm not saying that there's.
I think it's just.
Too late,
it's just a thing where they go like, all right, this was not
embarrassing.
It was definitely embarrassing. It's also not that bad in casualties. It's also a thing where you go like, we don't really want to survey this land in case anybody else wants to fuck with us from any other countries because we have a lot because we've been like putting people's heads in the dirt for a long time as a nation.
Also,
so I think they're going like also like look at all this.
Are you saying that the image?
There's plenty of reasons not to.
No, what I'm getting. Are you saying that? I'm not saying you're wrong. What I'm getting at is, are you saying that the image of an exploding Pentagon may become a meme in the terrorist world?
No. I mean, the trade center is more.
It would be a far more powerful. Maybe not.
Maybe not. I don't know either. I'm just.
Well, no. The trade center is like New York. It's like, but it's also
the trade
like,
center is the fucking image, for better or worse.
Yeah, well, because there were 2 towers that are not there. The Pentagon is still there. Also, the people working at the Pentagon are theoretically like military-esque.
Yeah.
Like they're not civilians.
I think it reeks.
Well, I mean, maybe the janitors
America's
are,
like
you know?
Second Amendment in this, where they just go like, "Well, don't fuck with our guns." You know what I mean? Like, we're not going to show any fucking pictures from the Pentagon. I'll tell you that.
I think
So
like
the guys who direct the big guns.
I think largely it's just not as good of a picture. Like it's also harder for the news organizations to take pictures of the Pentagon.
Yeah, any fucking
because
shithead.
Well, there are cameras.
Right, but the Pentagon doesn't. Why would the Pentagon give us any of their footage?
Yeah.
It's our footage.
Okay, but
Yes,
okay,
I mean
okay,
that's the right
okay,
answer.
So
but
next Sunday, are you gonna like hit up the Pentagon and be like, show me all the fucking camera footage?
No, because one of them was a gas station out front of it,
right.
and they could have. There's like Arcos and shit.
no,
out
the
there.
Pentagon owns that gas station.
I mean, they own the country that makes the gas. And then
Okay, do you have a theory?
no, at all. I don't.
No, but I'm saying
I don't have a theory.
Not-
Now that you've heard
I have
our
I'm
ideas,
not in a judgmental way. I'm saying
I literally do not.
okay.
I really don't. I'm
will you think of one, please?
okay.
Do you think there wasn't a plane?
No, I think it was a plane. Where did the other one go? Like, there's a plane that's not there anymore.
Right.
Like, there's a plane that was there and then
Well,
it's no longer.
the real Bush was on it.
It could be in that Boeing hangar under Building 7 or whatever.
It could be in the under the Denver airport or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they came out. They're going to come out later after Close Encounters.
After Trump's president again.
And then Building 7 of the World Trade Center complex, it caught on fire because there were diesel tanks under it. Is that right?
I don't fucking know.
Tell me, pal.
I was in Ireland. You were here. I was counting on.
But you were older.
He stopped.
Yeah, you're right.
He didn't read the news.
But he only read the news.
I did.
In 1984.
Well, no, it was a thing where like, so when I was there, and it was like, I was gonna come home like in December or something, but so much of it was just about, because especially it was abroad, it was just going like, ooh, dude, get ready for America, because like you know that they like to kind of fight.
Woo!
And now somebody just picked a fight with them, so like, yo, get ready.
And that's the point too,
And,
right?
and then the thing was, you know, the axis of evil speech and stuff like that happened, and like I told you, like
If you're not with us, you're against us.
Channel 4 had a fucking poll where it was like, who do you think wants war most, Iraq, Iran, or the U.S.? And like the British is like fucking like by far the U.S. Like,
Yeah.
you know, there was, you know, a thing like around the world for quite some time. And even within the United States, from people like we're saying, in militia communities and like stuff where they're going like, the power is kind of unchecked, and they're kind of quite the
Pax Americana.
international globalist sort of colonialist still. So a lot of people were happy to see them take it on the chin for a minute. The thing was that like, for me, growing up in Long Island and my family being from New York, there was a thing where like even my dad, who was like, I think like America is just out of control on the global scale, he was so mad that it was New York that he was just like, the papers are telling me I need to understand Islam and I don't want to.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, also the papers did a very bad job of, they're like, I mean, there's a difference between the people who attacked us and the people who practice Islam all over the world.
It was
it's like the papers did a very bad job.
But it was also just following, like, if you think about...
Yeah, we didn't invade Indonesia.
But when following the 90s, too, everybody was just, like, really lulled into, like, a sense of comfort and complacency.
Oh, it was... This is why in The Matrix they talk about, we set this time period in 1999, the peak of your culture.
Yeah.
It never got better than that.
Well,
God, how prophetic.
yeah, but
No, it's...
Oh, shut up. You don't like The Matrix. You know The Matrix is awesome.
No, it is.
It never, like, after that...
it's not the peak of our culture.
No,
It
no.
was the...
And it wasn't even that good.
No, a lot of shit was buried under the carpet. You're totally right.
Yeah, that's the point.
But
Your
what I
head
was-
was in the sand.
Yeah.
Everything was fine in the 90s.
Well, no, I was.
If you're white-
I was 10 to 15.
Wasn't it fine?
No.
Why?
I was 10 because I was in my early teens. It
Did
was
you have to have a
terrible time.
job?
I will. Yes, because my parents made me get a job.
What kind of job?
I had to wake up at 4 in the morning and mow golf courses.
Oh, what? So what? You were horny? You were horny and had a job like all of us?
Yeah, you were virile.
Oh, wait. So now it's a bad thing.
No, you love
Horny having a job?
is awesome.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Now I'm not horny. I'm nearly unemployed.
Yeah.
It is funny to talk.
Conspiracy is what you think.
No, but it was this like
Now I'm asexual and unemployed.
a pre 9/11 and post 9/11 world.
Now I'm
and
circumcised.
You know, a curtain coming down, right? It is.
Yeah.
It is a milestone in worldwide culture.
No, but it's
Pax Americana ended.
And also it accelerated bad things that were already happening in the 90s. Mm-hmm. Quite a bit.
The things that we were putting off.
Shock doctrine.
Yeah.
The thing about being like, hey, now, dude, like, we're a nation at war, and, also you're going to get paid less. And we're also
going to, like, the country we invade, we're also going to give them your jobs in 10 years.
Yeah. And we're also going to, we're going to fly in sand in a nation that is just covered in sand.
Yeah, we're gonna burn F-150 so we can get new ones.
And it's not a Sandman.
Yeah, somebody thought that'd be funny, so that's on the plan.
We're gonna build volleyball courts in Afghanistan with sand from Australia. So hang loose, bro. Mahalo.
Also, everybody fighting for us is gonna get lung cancer from us burning stuff that we found there.
And also, we came in with a sick show where you electrocute the fucking dudes in the shower for no reason at all.
Hey, if you like Room 237, you're gonna love uranium 239, and like with the depleted shells from our 18 warthogs, you're all gonna get mysterious diseases in 10 to 12 years. So like, Shining.
Gulf War syndrome this time is just like too much money and people balling out of control.
I don't know how you used to work at a golf course, but now you're gonna get Gulf War syndrome. Hey, can we take a break?
Yeah. Let's take a break and then we'll wrap it up real quick.
Wrap it up.
Be right back. And we're back.
Wow.
So,
like me, baby.
First of all, Aaron, I realized conspiracy talk gets you pretty excited. I realize you spent a lot more time here than I think
in the conspiracy world.
Yeah, not just in this room.
I think than I knew, but also it is like a thing where. Late 90s. It was a place to play around for quite a while. And like,
I was in college, and like, fucking the internet was like really popping off at that time.
Yeah, but in zine culture in the late 90s, even it was the thing where you're like, all right, you're gonna find a lot of that stuff, and people. It was just that same thing too, like bad information passing around. People, this guy said this, and it's like, and he was wrong about this, but this was right.
Yeah, it's a form of contagion, and like. It just depending on the vector of communicate, like the zine thing became the message board thing.
The mainstream,
became the chat room became
that becoming the main. Like it's it's so crazy. I never thought I would see anything like it to this degree. Where the crazier shit you said, the more mainstream was, especially in a country as big as America,
right?
But then suddenly it's like, fucking QAnon. It's a major fucking problem.
Sometimes the truth, for a lot of human history, the truth is stranger than fiction.
Yes,
right. Like War of the Roses.
Oh no, we talked about how while I consider myself 1996, 1997 politically aware, reading.
Naomi Klein,
beginner Chomsky, Naomi Klein, and then hearing, the CIA brought in coke to destabilize, and I was going like, get the fuck out.
And then you're like,
and then it's like once you can identify the pilot, and you're going,
pilot doing it,
and you're
the
going,
fucking dealer doing it, who they then put in jail, who then got to taught himself to read to get out.
But that's not the same as going like. Oh, you can't see what I see because
you're indoctrinated.
Because
it's cult mentality.
There's a big out there. There's a huge out there, and he is right when he's saying though, like which is what I basically just said. Like a conspiracy theory is only a theory until it's proven true.
Right.
Yes, well, I mean that's one of the. I mean, like you're talking about. I was thinking about the Iraq War, and the first one, right? Because there's this in the moment where they're trying to sell the first Iraq War, and they have the ambassador's daughter,
Kuwaiti,
pose as a woman from Kuwait in front of a congressional committee,
Talking about them like ripping up babies,
throwing babies out of incubators.
Yeah, and
total lie.
and well, that's true. Like she was the ambassador's daughter doing that, right? She was lying
making
about
up facts,
and
she was also not saying I'm the ambassador's daughter.
No, she was saying
I'm a Kuwaiti citizen
who saw this happen, and that's why we should go attack Saddam Hussein. And so, back then
there were plenty of other reasons,
right,
to shove a Tomahawk missile up that guy, like
right, but none of them have to do with
international law,
with America. But back then, right, that's a thing that like, where are you going to get that info from? You're going to hear it third, second, fourth, fifth
appealing
hand,
to the emotions.
and then it appears in a zine or, and now like, and so you go, where did I get that from? And then that same type of attitude, like now you can connect those people a lot easier. And so as you can connect those people a lot easier and check the facts a lot easier, the conspiracies have to get bigger.
And harder to corroborate.
Exactly.
And sometimes though, it's a thing like in those days, like I was telling Aaron,
Before you could just lie.
Yeah.
but so the conspiracy is not, so grandiose or self-aggrandizing. Where it's a thing where, like I was telling you, there was a guy in Action Rock and Roll in the 90s where he was going like, I'm lucky I live in California, and my grandma, while weed is still very illegal, is facing, life-threatening cancer, and she starts doing, cannabis, like early CBD and stuff.
Yeah.
And they're going like, oh, the lymph nodes shrunk in half.
Right.
And then some doctors come around, they're like, oh, don't do that anymore. Let's get you back on chemo. And then she's fucking dead in a couple of months. And you go like, that is a conspiracy to be like.
To him, it's a conspiracy.
Well, he's just going like, dude, this is not an acceptable answer that they're getting from tests about somebody's health improving.
Right.
And, he's not saying like, oh, it means that, fucking.
He's not discounting the scientific method.
Yeah, he's not going like it's not as if fucking Mr. Drummond is behind it or something. Yeah,
Right.
he's just saying like generally, the system is going like we don't want a cheap plant-based thing,
Right.
To be
Right.
fixing cancer.
Right.
That would be quite bad for us.
And the answer there is just could just be a bad doctor.
Right.
Like
And
a
then,
normal doctor
then it
would
comes
be
down
like,
to the individual, like,
But also doctors do a lot of stuff with consensus and stuff like that, and you go like,
but because that's the right thing to do for a population is what is on average the best. It's called the standard of care.
right. But now
When you're rich, you can get a personal doctor who will personalize everything.
But
for you.
also, like, you can say consensus is a thing that is dictated by peer pressure, especially if there's good doctors.
It's not necessarily by peer pressure. It's just by like
But it
what
can
the
be.
data is.
It can be, is all I'm saying.
For X number of the
for doctors
population,
at least,
like, listen, the flu vaccine that comes out every year only it's like 20% effective, but it's still the standard of care. Why? Because it's good enough.
It's 20% more than not doing.
It's 20% more than zero.
Yeah.
Right. And so for a doctor, they just go off their sheet like, now that this, it'd be a dereliction of my duty to not give you chemo.
Right.
I could be faced with malpractice lawsuits if I don't give you chemo.
And that's a good point, but it is a slightly different issue, though, right?
But if you saw
because of litigiousness,
if you saw
if
you saw lymph nodes shrinking in half due to like cannabis-based stuff, and then you go like,
he'd have to prove it.
that it was due to cannabis-based stuff, and not maybe
and to them and to that man and his mother, it's because of the weed. Of course,
right? And but it might have been the only thing she was on. I don't really know.
we don't know, and that's the doctor.
And it might be that guy writing that letter also being like he wanted that to be true, and he wants it to be
right
because he's angry.
Did he write down dosages?
He's angry about his grandma dying. Like,
and that could, maybe
totally
that's a side effect of chemo she took earlier.
But yeah, there is. I mean, like there are conspiracies that are very real, and a lot that were like, I mean, if you told me the fucking like, Wachovia and Wells Fargo were well in deep with drug runners laundering money,
Well, I would probably
It's true.
I still would be like, far fetched. Like,
Well, I don't know, John. Would you think the big banks aren't somehow tied into some sort of corruption?
the Big Bang?
The big banks.
Yes.
Oh, I was like, the Big Bang?
Yes, John.
The Big Bang is where it goes all the way to the top, baby.
It's all of it.
And here's a secret. It wasn't so big.
Start small.
Well, the thing is that the reporting only ever starts on it once the shit hits the fan and the banks are taking shits.
Well, yeah, because how are the reporters going to know about it? No one's talking to the reporters when it's good.
They should be fucking doing it the whole
Yeah,
time.
when your fucking mutual fund's getting 30x a year, you're fucking happy they're investing in the Sinaloa cartel.
Exactly. He's bringing hippos.
Hey, come on.
That's the thing. I mean, that's exactly what Paulson said about everything with Goldman Sachs and all the stuff that led to the crash. You know, he's like, we were making too much money. Didn't talk about it.
Yeah, I mean that's a conspiracy of sorts, right?
Oh, not of sorts. It
is.
It is.
Let's not ask questions. This is great.
Yeah.
So David Icke.
Okay.
David Icke. I think my appraisal is, loner weirdo, kind of a bunch of his childhood.
Probably did too many headers in a football.
Right. Yeah. His dad wanted
a lot on his back to provide. When he starts getting some success, then his dad being mad he can't provide with, the kind of gift he was given, and then he gets this fucking new thing, with TV presenting, and then the Green Party stuff, and I think he just was one of those guys where he got into that alt new age shit. And it very quickly can go down weird roads.
Yeah.
To this day, faster than ever.
Oh yeah.
Real fast.
Yeah. If the minute you're talking about like alien subcultures, like you can probably be talking to a Nazi like in 15 minutes.
It's fucking mid-level marketing to white supremacy.
Yeah, and it's like, they used to distinguish so much more. Like we were saying, like they used to be so much like
the neo-Nazi and the crystal UFO people did not have a lot of crossover.
Well, no, but like the
used to.
No, I mean, yeah, they might have, but there also used to be so much.
That's true.
There used to be so much, like we said, more questioning in the conspiracy community, where they just go like.
Now they do say that's true.
But when there was questioning, if everything you came up with a conspiracy theory was like somehow blamed on the Jews, you go like, oh, dude, you're just a Nazi.
Yeah.
Right.
You go like,
or you're uncreated.
Or yeah, you go like
lizards. That's something.
I don't like this narrative. This is like. I thought I was getting into a conspiracy, like a good Agatha Christie novel.
Yeah.
And now I just see that you're like a Klansman, like not in a robe. So like, it wouldn't go over as much.
I saw this thing. It was after Chappelle's monologue on SNL. And the whole Kyrie Evans and the whole Kanye West thing and all these, the weird anti-Jew shit. And Sarah Silverman was like, each one of these guys individually has more followers on Instagram than there are Jews in the world.
Yeah.
So I don't want to hear it.
Yes, dude.
Yeah, they're doing fine.
Like,
they haven't been held back by the Jewish population.
It's not and I just don't want to talk like. If you want to talk about like a cohesive group of people behind a single figure, like buying what they say, like don't talk about like you're barking up the wrong tree, dog.
Yeah,
you're barking up the easy tree.
And there's also
is it a black conspiracy that there's more blacks in the NBA than any race?
Well,
is it a conspiracy run by blacks?
It's certainly anti-Jewish, considering how it started.
So okay, if there's Jews in Hollywood, okay, doesn't. Okay.
Do they run it?
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. But like it was when I saw that little line of just each one of you has a bigger following than there are Jews in the world. It was like, ooh, girl.
Yeah.
Nice. It was very nice. And she's friends with fucking Chappelle,
Yeah, and also, I mean, but like
Chappelle doesn't have a bigger following than there are Jews in the world, by the way. But it's Kyrie and Kanye.
But yeah, like also like, when. Like as we've said many times on the show, the Jews and like the pogroms before the protocols of the Elders of Zion, They get chased out of places. They stick together more and more. There becomes more of an identity.
Yeah, the pogroms have the effect of making them more cohesive.
Right, which only feeds into the argument.
It feeds into the argument of them being insular, and
but
being
also
other.
like
them.
Why would?
But also like
killing them.
And you only let them have the jobs that you like.
Yeah,
but then it was ironic to me because like my dad would say like vaguely anti-Semitic things. Where he'd be like, "Oh, well, there's this many Jews in the country, and there's this many in Congress, or like whatever stuff like that." And I was kind of going like, "All right, well, yeah, they got chased around Europe, and then they became more insular, and it was
And they've been reading for 6,000 years.
yeah, and it was also because they
backwards,
and it was because they showed you how to wash your fucking hands, and they showed
and how to handle your money.
Yeah.
And read a fucking book.
Yeah, which you made them do because you said it was fucking like
Sin.
Yeah, a sin. And then they get fucking crucified in like the worst.
One of them did.
The worst modern fucking industrial pogrom in history. And
it's an industrial
mechanized murder.
Yeah, and then you say maybe it didn't happen that way, and I'm just kind of going like, also like, Dad, like fucking like, you're so into like fucking like being Irish and stuff, like, and like defense of like Irish, like I was like,
it's the wrong tree to bark on.
If you were fucking Jewish, dude, you would be like, dude, I will fuck people up. That like, I was like, you're a total fucking like hypocrite. You're like, there's nobody, especially as like a fan of the underdog, and sometimes he would exhibit that too. My dad would always speak up, being like, Jewish people in America did not get enough credit during the civil rights struggle.
Not even none.
Yeah.
When have they ever talked about?
And
well, Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Irish guy. but yeah, so he was like, oh, my dad all over the place, totally insane. But I was just kind of like, it doesn't matter if it's fucking like, if you're Puerto Rican, Irish, Jew, like it's something where you just go like, I'm very comfortable fucking with my own tribe, and that's so human.
Mm-hmm.
And
when there's so few of you,
of you, and you don't have a homeland,
and all your grandparents all got like
fucking
melted
numbers tattooed on their fucking wrists.
94% of the Jews in Poland.
God damn, like
plus Magneto.
But no, he survived.
Well, I know that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's I think Ike is just like leaning on some bad stuff there.
It's the wrong, like, dude, whether it was 4 or 6 or 10, like the
right,
number,
yes,
the number doesn't matter.
Sure.
I would guarantee the number is far higher than anything that's documented. People back then just got shot in ditches all the time.
Right? Yeah. Like as good as the Nazis were keeping records, like they burned them pretty good too.
Yeah.
And records, and it doesn't matter. The number doesn't matter.
Yes, the intent does,
and the method, like you said, mechanization, industrialization.
Yeah.
The
telling everybody it's all right.
Giving a population small, like
sending
over with blankets,
sending out videos saying, "Hey, they're all in these camps and they're all playing soccer and like it's all good and like we're just temporarily working out a thing."
It's a work camp.
Like it was like they were acting like the best place you can go is a concentration camp. You know what I mean?
John, we were talking about this on was it Monday, Monday
After Patreon.
Yeah. A really fun conversation. There's this really, really long article I was listening to about how Germany has tried to, make monuments and react to their history and things like
make sure we don't forget
the stumbling stones and different things, and the way that the U.S. has struggled to like
do the same.
They're like, oh, you're tearing down the Robert E. Lee statue, and it's like the guy who, that's a. And one of the things to talk about is like the author goes to Dachau and he's like, how would the people in this town not know?
Right.
It's right. Mm-hmm. It's right next to the town. You would be in the town and smell what's like. There's something wrong going on here.
Yeah, and the amount of people on every side, like. Be like fucking Grand Central Station.
And the U.S. forces came in and they had to show the people of the town. They had to bring them into the town to show them before any of them would admit that they even that it was even happening at all.
Yeah.
And it was like, what is that? This level?
Willful ignorance.
Right, because
I don't want to deal with the reality.
And also, I can't be a part of that group. But if I fight against it,
I can't be good if I'm a part of this.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You know,
There's just, I mean, and this is a whole
there's
thing
plenty
for
of things
another.
that if we want, there's plenty of things about our own country and culture that like we're willfully ignorant about.
Absolutely.
And that like we can't. And there's things that we shouldn't take responsibility for. Like, man, look, I'm not putting fucking people in cages. I'm not putting like disproportionate. I didn't vote for these laws that put like, you know, nonviolent drug users in jail. Like, but I guess I have some blood on my hands, right? Like,
right. Sure.
It's much more direct back then, but like, it's.
I think also in that whirlwind too, in the upheaval, there's a thing where you just go like,
well, now the trains run on time, and I have food in my house.
Oh, like, no, I was gonna say the other way, where it's a thing where you go like, it's all ramping up so fast. Like, what am I gonna be asked of next? Or like, what am I gonna be told I can't do? Or like, how is because once they say a rule, it's law, fact. Like that's it.
Yeah.
It's not as if people can raising hands and vote. Like
exactly. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That sort of fascism.
So it's just a thing where you go like, oh fuck, are we gonna all have to like start making shells tomorrow or something like you know? I think everybody was just dealing with me. So, and then it makes it easier to.
Do you think that like people like historians in the future? Let's wrap it up on this.
Yeah.
Do you think historians in the future are going to look at things like the Holocaust, of which there are a few, but they look at
especially one
and the modern our Holocaust, right? The same way that we looked at like human sacrifice in ancient like Mexico.
No.
Where it's like, oh, well, they sacrifice these people on the altar for good crops. And then it happened. Like, Germany brought itself out of an inflationary, horrible depression, all this stuff with the war machine, the Wehrmacht, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that they'll look at us and be like, well, these people in Germany, they thought that if they sacrificed enough Jews, if they killed enough people, that there would be like
no.
Do you think that maybe like some of the occult members high up in
there might be some conspiracy theorists
in Hitler's inner circle, the more occult people were like, this is a blood sacrifice?
I think
but that's insane.
I think they were.
Of course, it's insane.
No, I think they were going like. I think they were really, really desperate.
And we need a villain.
Also,
we need another.
They started in the First World War being like, hey, we're now a major world power and we don't have any colonial shit, so can we get some? And then everybody was like going like, no. And they're like, okay, well now we're going to start a war about it. Like Norma said, versus
everyone,
the world.
Yeah, and they almost won.
And it didn't work out. And then it was like when they got beaten down so bad and everybody kind of made them rub their nose in it like a lot, which was not a good plan at all.
And they came back.
It just seemed like, Phoenix from the ashes. And
of course.
Oh, now we're destined.
And that's the right answer.
The spirits come out of the Black Forest and all that bullshit.
They weaponize their folk mythology.
And then when they were beaten again, and then the response was much more like, hey, we're sorry we beat you in a war. Then they came back and just started running the EU.
and Jews are leaving every other country in Europe and moving to Germany in droves.
Are they?
Yes, I'll show you the fucking chart.
Okay,
it's like
it's still a very small percentage of people.
Well, there's not that many of them.
Well, there was
Germany killed them all.
Yeah, I know, and it's really weird too because German Jews specifically at that time were like they were so entrenched.
They were German.
They had so much of of their own German Jewish culture, and whatever. But obviously, you wouldn't want to be there for that. But also, there was a lot of people that even through it ended up staying
and just hid them, lied, concealed their identity, or famous great episode by me. Hitler's Jewish psychic Eric von Hanneson.
Ultimately, David Icke, I don't think he should be treated as this harsh anti-Semite. I think he makes some bad decisions. But at the end of the day, I think
he's a shyster, man.
He's got his own silly fucking thing going on.
He's no Alex Jones.
Well, I think now we would elevate David Icke over Alex
That's what I'm
Jones.
saying. That's my
what it
point.
means.
That's what I mean.
No, he's not as bad as Alex
Yeah.
Jones.
Yeah. You know, I think
Not great.
I do kind of believe Ike for whatever reason when he's going like, listen, man, like it doesn't matter. Like it's like Muslim, Jewish, whatever.
They're all
It's like,
reptiles to me.
yeah.
Lizard dick is lizard.
Reptiles all the way down.
It's humans versus the reptiles. I think he really kind of believes that. But I also
He'll show
think
clips from movies.
But I also think whatever comes out like now in the zeitgeist, it's like whether it's vaccines or COVID or whatever, like he is doing that thing where he's just deliberately saying the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And it's a thing where you go like, then I go like, oh, dude, fuck you, because you are just hosting a show.
Well, and like you said, he at this point now he's just pandering to his audience. He has no new ideas. He's just saying, you guys tell me what I am supposed to say now.
Yeah. And when people don't discuss,
and then he reads an ad for BetterHelp,
and they just rant. Yeah. When they just rant and they don't have a discussion and they don't seem curious and they always have the answers, dude, just get out. Yeah. Like you're damned.
But if people wanted answers, they wouldn't be there. Those are just questions,
fellas.
David Icke,
spirited discussion.
Truth will set you free.
Yeah, got really, really crazy there.
Yeah, we did.
Izzy, I hope you liked that, buddy.
I blacked out a little
listen,
bit.
Man,
I don't know. What are we
John
doing?
Denied the Holocaust a few times, but I'm not going to hold it
against.
Who did what?
No.
All right. Okay. He ends it with insane shit.
Well, John, it's a David Icke episode. I don't know what you expected. Just normality?
Yeah. What do you want?
Rationality?
What do you want?
Just one last little thing.
Oh Christ!
My own involvement
in 9/11.
No, when I was interested after reading them and seeing the thing, I think I told both of you I got the double VHS where he interviews some woman who believes she was trained by the angel of death, Joseph Mengele, and that she saw all of these blood rituals with shape-shifting reptiles, and she just starts naming the names on the list, and she's going like Hillary Clinton, like she does like an extra nod there, and then it's like it's a 2 VHS interview with her and Ike, where he's leading her obviously, and then he's like, oh, what's it been like since you like made these revelations and came out? And she's like, oh, my family disowned me, like they don't talk. And so you're going like,
it only proves it.
So you're going like this is like a housewife with like a husband and like kids, and like she's now kind of lost her life and reputation and maybe job,
and that only strengthens the argument
to fucking get on this fucking train.
Yeah,
and you're like, it's same thing with that's true, and LeBaron, where you're going like, at what point is it abusive?
Well,
point.
It's also really fucking, it's a self-facing prophecy, self-fulfilling. We're like,
I'm self-effacing.
She does these things and people are like, you're crazy, and she's like, no, I'm not, and they're like, I can't live with you anymore. And then where does she, like, there's nowhere else for her to go but other than Crazy Town with other crazy people, which only makes it worse. It's like there's got to be a better way to like take these people. And that brings us
to our sponsor tonight, BetterHelp.
But also, yeah, you're saying like, you tell me you got out of blood drinking rituals with Hillary Clinton and the entire Illuminati after being trained by Joseph Mengele, and now you're sitting here with David Icke on my VHS recorder.
What did he train you? What did he train you at? Like,
you're telling me people just escape the most secret blood rituals of the Overlord?
They let you out? They just let you go? I don't believe it.
It's just it's sad.
It is, but I don't know what you do. How do you reach these people? That's all. We'll save that for the Patreon. If you want to know how to save these people.
If you want to save $1,
$5 a month, you can save.
Code word adrenochrome and you go to BetterHelp.
Yeah. I'm sure we will have more on David Icke in the Patreon.
Yep.
So I'm going to say goodnight, folks. I love you. My name is John Fahey.
I'm Aaron Peter. The truth shall set you free.
I'm Matt Brousseau.
Yeah,
sure.
Everybody, we love you.
Good night.
Starburns Audio.